Good afternoon everybody, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Today, once again, we're back at one of my two favourite places in the United States, Boston. And the fantastic Boston Logan International Airport from FlyTampa to begin our journey today on what is the 4th of July, celebrated by a lot of you in the United States as well, so happy 4th of July to all of you celebrating today. And we're in the Fenix A320 as well, which I've noted significantly, this plus the Boston scenery has absolutely wiped out performance on my system, which is absolutely bizarre. Yeah, to the point where actually I'm averaging about 17 frames per second, so I know the Fenix isn't that well optimized anyway. I've spoken in quite a lot in detail about that quite publicly on many occasions, but I know Boston as well is quite heavy because of the sheer detail involved in the scenery, so that plus this is not a good combination. Blue, hello to you, welcome. I think I've lost some other people in the live chat further up as well. It won't let me scroll up for some reason. We've got Blue, we've got Chaz, David, MPS Gaming, hello folks, welcome, welcome. I need to do some Osprey Airways flights, indeed. Very good point, very good point. Owen, good afternoon as well. Zato, everybody else in the live chat too. So, two legs today. Seems to be in the outside view as well, correct. It is pretty much, yeah, about 17 frames per second. It's hideous. To the point where I'm kind of regretting using the Fenix A320 today. Definitely won't be turning off photogrammetry flight force. AR Simulations, welcome. And Edward catching his first live stream here on the channel as well. That's great to hear. Welcome aboard. Great to have you with us. So, this is going to be difficult because it's so choppy. But anyway, well, that's interesting. Bearing in mind this linked. That doesn't seem linked at all to me. Boarding complete. Happy days. That reverted its settings again. EFIS barrow control linked. Independent linked. Right. That's not linked at all, is it? Wow. Is it broken? .3010. Let's click that linked again now. Now it's all matching, let's keep it linked. What the hell happened to the windscreen? Absolutely no idea. It is gopping filthy, isn't it? David, no, not got the chipmunk yet. Probably won't, to be totally honest. Typing Squirrel, new to the channel, welcome. Do I do any flying in real life? So I used to. I was studying. Well, I am studying and progressing towards my EPL in the UK, but we're also buying a new house at the moment. We're selling our house and buying another house, so it's proved to be quite expensive for us, to the point where actually, yeah, good. To the point where actually I can't afford to fly anymore, which is rather sad. Right. It's manageable at the moment, Danny, even if it is choppy. But again, it shows mid-range-ish system. Actually, to be fair, I've upgraded my RAM to 64 gigabytes as well. So it shows some aircraft are very well optimized, PMDG. Some aren't so much. And when you then use those aeroplanes in certain areas like this, and perhaps even JFK when we get to JFK, so it is a bit of a worry, you can get smashed with performance issues, which is not great. But hey, I'd rather keep it transparent and I'll show you guys exactly what's going on and what I think of it all. Good and bad, of course, with everything. 124, 135, let's pop these speeds in. 124, 135, 135. One up 0.3, flex of 68, engine out 1020. Boston traffic, American 2122 radio check. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. It's great to have you here. Please do hit the subscribe button down below. FT 1 up 0.3 flex 68. Happy days. Zero fuel weights.
Delayed response 5x5.
Thank you. Throughout today's live stream as well, make sure you click the like button, give us a little like. What have we got? Zero fuel weight, 53 we'll call it, 53.0, because it's 52.959, so we'll round it up. 28.8% with a gross weight of 59.1 tons. Two legs today, so we're off first to Washington National, the incredible Jazeki design scenery there, and actually we're flying into runway 01 for the first time ever. Not done it until today. We were planning for the ILS, but I've noticed there is a Mount Vernon visual approach to runway 01, so I figured, why not try that? Why not give it a go? What could possibly go? What could possibly go wrong? He says. That's done, that's done, that's done. Okie dokie. Navigaph. There's the Boston charts. Not too complex, is it? Yeah, so we're down at stand Bravo 14, where that magenta arrow is. Right down the very bottom. We're going to push start to taxiway Echo. Fenix has kept reminding me that I've still got toolbar pushback installed today, so I shan't use it just in case, but push back onto Echo, and then we're going to head down Echo. What are we doing today? 27, aren't we? There we go, all the way down there. So Echo, cross 4 left, cross 4 right, via Papa, cross 4 right Papa onto Delta, cross 3 left, all the way down to Delta, whole point 27 like so, and then we're going to depart up past the terminal building towards the north side of the central business district of Boston with a top altitude of 5,000 feet. Initially heading outbound 272 degrees, but then turning slightly more southbound at 234 degrees to Kira, 262 degrees then for 30 miles to Pats, go Pats. And there's a Boston VOR shaded there at 112.7, so I'll tune that in as well just to help us, even though it's an RNAV departure and we don't need the VOR. But it's nice to just have something shown on the bottom of the nav display for visual references and things. In fact, it's already tuned in some VORs, so I shan't bother. And we're tracking our flight on Volanta as well, of course. Let's have a quick check on VPilot. We haven't got any ATC. METAR at the moment, winds 320 degrees at 8 knots. 10 statute miles visibility, few cloud at 18,000 feet, scattered at 25,000. Temperature 21 degrees, dew point +10, and altimeter 3010. So that's all set. We're going to set the altitude top of 5. Seatbelts, no smoking signs. Everything else is done. And the cockpit door is locked. Squawking 2000. I'll put it on auto for now, and I'll whack it onto TA. TA only. Yeah, okie dokie. Willie Cut, Canuck, welcome aboard. Hope you're okay. Doc's got some taxi instructions for you. So taxi out Kilo, cross 04 left, Charlie and Delta. MPS Gaming's very much enjoying the Aerosoft CRJ. Good to hear. It's a fantastic aeroplane in the sim. Really, really nice indeed. Dursey2, greetings to you. Currently in a hospital waiting room, watching on your mobile. Great effort. Hope you're okay. Generic pilot's asking about when FlyTampa is likely to release their Corfu scenery, as they've been working on it since last year. You know what? Really not sure. Really not sure. Let's get rid of the chocks. And connect the tug. Ooh, that's interesting. So it does kind of clash with each other, look. Let's come out of the screen there. Right, where's my parking stance? Taxi line Echo. Boston Traffic American 2122 stand Bravo 14's push start onto Echo. Get rid of the music, we don't need it right now. Okay, so it's fighting. Toolbar pushback. That's really interesting. God, I find the Fenix aircraft so frustrating sometimes.
Boston traffic, Osprey 722, pushing
that.
back, stand 32 onto Alpha, facing north, Boston traffic.
All for toolbar pushback, and there's a lot of you that are actually using it and have been using it since the Fenix released the A320. So for this to then go, you know what, no, we're not working, that's pretty rubbish. So we shall start the engines now, and I'm just gonna have to reverse back from the stand manually, I think, with reverse thrust. That is not impressive at all. Make sure I set the parking brake for the engine start. Can you tell I'm not impressed? Taxi via 4 left. FlyTampa Amsterdam is that's gonna be quite cool, isn't it? Huge scenery, of course. Blue, yeah, spotted the passengers walking around the terminal. Very good. It's airport wide. It's an exquisite bit of scenery, I have to say. It's weird how it clashes with itself. Parking brake is set. Then it connects the tug. Jersey2 saying, I'm slightly regretting purchasing the Fenix. It's quite picky. I tend to prefer Airbus over Boeing, but I think I'd rather purchase the PMDG 737 now and learn Boeing instead. Yeah, this is beyond frustrating. Not acceptable. I know toolbar pushback is a third-party program, but it works very well with the PMDG 737. It works very well with the Just Flight 146. With the Aerosoft CRJ, the fly-by-wire A320NX, it just clashes with this one so much, bizarrely. I mean, quite a lot of you have said you've not had a problem with toolbar pushback and the Fenix, so it's very interesting to see that now I can't even push back. Doesn't make much sense to me. Des2 saying the Fenix has messed up his Bravo throttle quadrant. That does not sound good. Should have flown fly-by-wire. Apparently, Doc says. Yeah, I've not flown the fly-by-wire for a little while, but I mean, the thing is, this is a pay-where aeroplane, so it's nice to celebrate it and immerse yourself in it a little bit. It's been a little while since we've been on it too. You know, in the Fenix A320. But I expect a little bit more. I reckon, now this is only a theory, so I don't know, but those of you who use, works fine with the Mad Dog as well. So it's just the Fenix. Bizarre, isn't it? Now, one of the weird things, right? I mean, it's only a theory, but I'm finding that the auto run for the Fenix program never works correctly. So I always have to run it manually when I get into the sim. And because I had toolbar pushback installed today, it gave me a pop-up which warned me. It said, you're using an incompatible third-party add-on, and then named toolbar pushback being the problem with uncontrollable dives and other things. Oops, hello. So yeah, a bit bizarre. But I should have already put the beacon on really. That's how much it's thrown me. Let's pop the APU off. We're going to have to go reverse green. I've only got one reverser, that's interesting. What is going on today? Has something changed with this aeroplane? Because now I can't even get reverse thrust, look. Jesus, how powerful is that? That is wholly unrealistic. Generic pilots had this problem a few times before. And what do you do? I have no idea what this plane is doing. This is the worst start to a stream I've ever experienced. And you know what? I actually feel like I'm going to wholly blame the aeroplane. Because it's not the scenery. And everything else works okay. That is rather strange. Now, that means we've got to remember we don't have any reverse thrust potentially. Boston traffic, American 2122, taxi to hold point Delta runway 27 via Echo Kilo. Correction, Kilo. Runway 04 left, Charlie and Delta. The rocket aircraft, yeah. Has anybody ever known reverse thrust to be that powerful? Not me. It just, you know what? It just seems a bit different. I've spent a week in the PMDG 737. In fact, how many streams have we done recently? They've all been in the Fenix. Sorry, the PMDG. Been a couple of days, hasn't it?
Boston traffic, Osprey 722, taxiing runway 27 via Alpha Foxtrot Mike.
Thank you for
Charlie
your attention.
Delta.
It's time to get you ready for takeoff.
Traffic.
We know you have lots of choices.
Yes, Sven,
So
and that's
thanks for
surprising
choosing
because
American.
it's been
We're
developed
happy to be
with
your
real
airline.
A320 engineers and
Now, please
pilots.
follow along with me. We'll be on our way.
320 Sim Pilot, Katie Pilot from Twitch, and all of that. They've all been doing some stuff with it to help them create what's supposed to be the most realistic A320
Before we depart,
ever made
there are
for the
some
sim.
important safety
Dirty2
instructions.
saying that his reverse thrust doesn't work well for him. I have to activate it then push my throttles forwards. It seems so
First things
counterintuitive
first,
and
let's
potentially
buckle
disastrous
those
if I need
belts.
to go to
Insert the
toga.
metal end into the buckle and pull the strap to tighten. To open, simply
Six Fingerball,
lift
hello to
on
you,
the top of the
welcome.
buckle. And remember,
Thing is, I've not changed any
seatbelts should be
settings
fastened whenever you're
compared to the
seated,
last time I
just
used the
in
Fenix.
case
Traffic, Osprey
unexpected
722,
turbulence.
crossing runway 22.
So it
right.
doesn't
Get us on
make
our
much
way.
sense.
Make sure your seat is up, all electronic devices are put away, and your tray table is stowed. If you have a carry-on, push it all the way under the seat in front of you. If it won't fit, place it in the overhead bin.
I don't know.
If you have a handheld device, please switch it to airplane mode now. You'll find our full electronic device
If this
option
first
in the
leg
back
is
of your American
horrendous
way.
and we do not get on with it for whatever reason, it's just not doing what it should do or whatever it might be, based on how that just started, we will switch out to the Aerosoft CRJ.
Now let's review the safety card. Please pay close attention, and before you know
Go on,
it,
Kilo.
we'll be off.
There's Boston, look at that, it's such a great airport, but frames are pretty
All
awful.
exits on this airplane are clearly marked. Take a moment to locate the nearest one. Keep in mind, it may be behind you. All exits have evacuation slides to use in an emergency. When directed to exit, jump onto the slide and move away from the airplane. Some slides may also be used as a raft, except those over the wings. You'll find the exact location on your safety card. This aircraft is designed with a spit lighting on or near the floor. A sign will indicate you have reached your exit. In the event of an evacuation, escape path lighting will appear. Follow the lights until you've reached your exit. Leave all carry-ons
Boston
behind.
traffic,
Just
Osprey
head quickly and
722,
safely
crossing
to the
runway
nearest
22
exit.
left.
And
Boston
don't
traffic.
forget, it may be behind you.
Yeah, Anthony, yes.
Now, if the airplane loses pressure,
Hold on a
oxygen
second.
masks
Doc,
will drop automatically.
you can't have given
While
me the correct
remaining
taxi
seated
route
with
here.
your seatbelt fastened, hold down on the mask to extend the
Oh,
tubing.
4 left.
The yellow cup goes over your nose and mouth like so, then slip the band over your head to secure
This
the
is
mask
how
to your
much
face.
an
The
aeroplane
band
that's not
adjusts
behaving can
automatically.
just really throw
Now
you
breathing will start
sometimes.
the flow of oxygen. And remember to always put your own mask on first before helping
Dix,
others.
big aboard. If you want to be a bell end,
Life
you can
vests
get
are
banned.
located either under or next to your seat. To remove the vest, pull the tab or compartment handle
Let's not
to
muck
break
about.
the seal. For help locating them, see your safety card. Remove
Yeah,
the
you know
vest
what?
from the package like this.
Bye-bye.
Put the vest over your head.
MFS
Wrap the
pilot,
strap
hello to you.
around
Hope you're
your
okay.
waist, attach the buckle and pull tight.
MPS Gaming, yes,
Once
so what we're
outside,
hearing now
pull the
is
tab to
airline
inflate your
announcements
vest
V1.
or
It's
blow
freeware
into
on
the red tube on the
flightsim.to.
side. In the water, a light on your vest will illuminate. And please, only inflate your vest outside the airplane. Now, your seat cushion may be used as a flotation device.
And Cooper, hello
Just
to you.
remove the lower cushion and put your arms through the straps
Welcome.
on the opposite side. The crew will now be coming around to do a final cabin check. After takeoff, we'll be back with more information. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. As always, we're here to make
The only thing with airlines, airline announcements V1, the link is in the description if you want to get your hands on it. But
Boston traffic, Osprey 722,
in comparison to the
crossing
Luke Air tool,
runway
there's a lot missing. It is only the airline cabin announcement that you can currently get, whereas with American Airlines at the moment, with the Luke Air tool, you get a whole lot of stuff. You get, in fact, all of the announcements, I believe, all examples of an announcement at least. But its UI, its user interface is very nice. There we go, 4 left. Export 3-point turn airline. Yeah. Yeah. Little handbrake turn for you guys to see. Shuts, hello to you, welcome. Not been simming much recently. Asking, is the Fenix not behaving? No, not very well at all so far, actually. Granted, the bit just then was my fault. I took the wrong turn, and I didn't want to backtrack on the wrong runway, so I've just got out of there quick. Got the hell out of Dodge, or whatever the saying is. Four left to Charlie, which is this one. Yeah, because we almost touched the active runway there. MPS Gaming saying, do you know, is SAS included in airline announcements V1? Let me have a look. No. No.
traffic, Osprey
Sadly not.
722, lining up runway 27, Boston traffic.
Aaron's also having pushback problems in the 737. Interesting. What, with toolbar pushback? Really good, yeah. / air crash investigation. Have I watched Stranger Things season 4? So I've only caught a couple of episodes. The missus has ploughed ahead in the season and then said that she didn't know I liked watching it. So I've seen a couple of episodes. I saw the one in the big house with all the dragon bird thingies flying around, but I had no idea what was happening. Aaron, very bizarre. Have you got FlyTampa's Boston?
Boston traffic, Osprey 722, taking off runway 27, Boston traffic.
Yeah, SAS of course is in Luke Airtool too, but the developer between airline announcements has said, behind airline announcements V1 rather, has said that if there is an airline missing, please reach out and let him know, and that he will seek to add it in a future update. Feedback-wise, that that I've given him is realistically the UI is quite neat, it's quite nice, but what I would like to see is more announcements so that it is the same as the Luke Airtool with the options available. Okay, good. 737. Danny, yeah, I get your point, but like I said a couple of minutes ago, I haven't actually changed anything in my hardware from the last time we flew the Fenix. The only thing that's different is I've added toolbar pushback into my sim today. Or rather, forgot to take it out because I was in the Fenix.
Boston traffic, Osprey 722.
We'll see how far we get, we'll see what happens, who knows.
5000, clear runway 27, Boston traffic.
Personally, I would quite like to see them address any discrepancies with the third-party stuff. 33 left is active. Yeah, Doc, that's a bit late telling me now, mate. Anthony saying, about to come in at Sydney, winds are 310 degrees, gusting 40. Or do you mean winds 31 knots, gusting 40? Question there, though, is do you have a crosswind? Is it headwind? What's the situation there for you? 'Cause that sounds pretty awesome. Have I changed my coffee brand? Can I? Yeah. Who knows, maybe. I'm still on the good old Nespresso. That's all good, that's all good. We're going to turn off lights. Typing squirrel. I'm not in Poland, no. I don't have BA Gold status either. Oh, absolutely no idea. No, I wish I had BA Gold status, that'd be fantastic, but no, sadly not. Alas, I am a meager bronze holder for about another month or so, and then I will revert back to blue because I've not flown in ages. Boston traffic, American 2122 is lining up runway 27 and taking off on a PATS 6 departure, Boston traffic. Hopefully taking off. Who knows what's about to happen. We've seen the start so far. The most bizarre start to a stream I've ever seen. That's thrust set, let's get off the brakes. Flex, SRS, and runway. Coming up to 80 knots, let's get the pressure off the nose wheel. 100 knots. V1, rotate. 2. And plus 10. Positive rate, gear up. Let's get a pilot 1 on. Lamar, welcome aboard. KDCA Sam Guy, welcome. Yeah, Daddy, yeah, American 2122 is uncertain of its ability to take off from runway 27. Throttle lever climb, we'll accelerate through the S, and up we go to Washington National. Out of Boston, my favourite place in the United States, next to San Diego. There's the CBD down below, and big old Boston Logan up there as well. Yeah, the second we're airborne, I've gone up to 22 frames, so it's still routinely a lot less than the PMDG 737 on performance. Things are very odd in this today. Can't work out what's going on with it. Disarm spoilers didn't work either just then. but then it's working on the hardware, but it's not recognising it on the aircraft. Look, for a little while. Okay, there we go. This is weird. Very weird. It's not working properly, then it works fine when you're looking at it. Sounds are still fantastic in the aircraft, absolutely, yes. Willie saying, yoke twisted if it has it.
Thanks, Scott 2205 to confirm week 27 with Logan 3 departure. Boston traffic.
Get this wound up. There's our top of climb up there. Just after Pats, we should be at flight level 380. Yeah, I mean, that's the difference as well, where the Flabawar aircraft has got cabin announcements that play in the background, but personally, you know, unless you're flying in America, they are completely useless because ultimately they're only American things. Only American announcements. If you're using something like Luke Airtool, you can actually then go ahead and do that. Yeah, Doc Cheers just did that a minute ago. Although I appreciate the stream is delayed, probably about 30 seconds maybe. That should be 10,000 if we're levelling off for acceleration now. KDJ, it's all about trying to get as stable as possible, but things infinite flight, you're never going to get a realistic experience because you're on a tablet which is using its gyro sensor thing or accelerometer, whatever it's called, to basically work out its angle of bank and everything else. So the fact that you're breathing means that you're moving slightly, and you're going to get inferred movements inside the tablet because it's going to think, yeah, you breathe and you hold your hand out, you notice it'll move slightly, and your tablet's most likely to pick that up, and therefore you're going to get slight differences, slight movements on the controls if you're then on something like infinite flight. I also find infinite flight ridiculously expensive for what it is. Second leg today, DCA, so Washington National to JFK. Weirdly, apparently, it's got a surface cruise altitude of only flight level 170, which I find a bit weird. Blue, no worries, buddy. Thank you very much. Amit Singh, welcome on board. If you are tuning in today, guys, don't forget next Monday, which is going to be the next live stream on the channel, is going to be an Orbex giveaway to celebrate Fly July 2022 from our friends at Orbex. We've got 5 Orbex products to give away and 5 Atlanta Premium subscriptions for 6 months to give away too. Very exciting. That'll be next Monday, usual time. We're going to be flying in Far East. We're off to Phuket for a return surface with a fantastic Knock Air 737 livery for the PMDG 73. Typing Squirrel saying, I hope the A380 fly-by-wire comes out soon, it should be great. And the Bluebird Simulations 757. So Bluebird Simulation 757, can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. Really, really excited for that. Got a lot of time for the 757. Wonderful aeroplane. Flabawar A380. I'll be honest, I've said it a lot of times now. I think it's going to be, if it does come out at all, it's going to be in 2023 to 2024, roughly. There's a lot of, there are a few channels that are putting out a bit of false hope, shall we say, and I'm careful not to do that. Thomas, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing, and Spotting Tel Aviv, hello to you. Welcome. DCA to JFK is kind of like Heathrow Shottergall, not too far. Yeah. Team level. Your last message just an and sign. Or do you mean the one before that? You're asking, is there a button to disable rudder because I use yoke for both rudder and ailerons, and in the air it uses both at the same time. I need a yoke to stay on the runway during takeoff and landing. To be honest, if you're using a yoke for rudder and aileron under the same control input, I would recommend removing one of those keybinds. So if you're using the left and right of the yoke, where you're rotating the yoke to go left or right, I would disable the rudder input for that, and I would find a different keybind somewhere else to do rudder with. Whether you've got 2 buttons maybe on your yoke, you can press and hold one for left, press and hold one for right. I would look for an alternative way there, because that sounds quite a complex setup you've got there, team level, to be honest. Any builds? A310 coming to MSFS, indeed. In the 40th anniversary edition, the update coming around, is it November time this year? Really looking forward to that. Those of us who have been in flight sim for quite a few years, or those like myself who flew with flight sim 2002 many years ago, and then didn't touch flight sim for about 15 years before coming back thanks to MSFS. Very excited for that. Bring back some memories for sure. Doc saying it's flight level 1. Well, sorry, it's not even flight level in America. It's just 17,000 feet for the next leg because of either Embraer or airspace structure. So when you say because Embraer, what do you mean? Because I don't actually know what you're referring to there. Why would an Embraer fly at 17,000 feet, but an Airbus go higher? Have I got it confused? MPS Gaming, I'm missing level D767. It was very good in FSX. Yeah, well, the sim MSFS is coming into its own now. It's at the stage where it's maturing really nicely. There's a lot of fantastic products now becoming available for it as well for us all to enjoy. We've just had to be quite patient, haven't we? Is the CRJ study level? So I don't like the phrase study level. So is it high fidelity? Yes. Is it very accurately created? I'm going to say yes, even though I'm not 100% certain, because one of our channel members, Matthew, is a 767 pilot now, but he's spent the last, well, many years flying the CRJ as a captain, and he said that Aerosoft have done a remarkably good, very, very good, accurate job of it, so it must be pretty good. Typing Squirrel, what's the point of flight level? Can't we just use altitude? Now that's a very, very good question. A really good question. So yeah, we've gone above transition at 18,000 feet in the States. Therefore now we're at standard pressure. So you're asking, your question there is why can't we use just altitude? So once you go above a transition level, everybody use a standardized altitude reading, and it's the ISA standard altimeter reading of 1013, 1013.2, or if you're in the States, 2992 inches of mercury. Now, why is this the case? So, say in an instance we have got 10 aircraft all flying in the same airspace in different directions, but they've all flown in from different parts of, say, the United States. So imagine now where we're flying, we've just taken off from Boston, haven't we? But we've got an aeroplane down there flying from JFK towards us. We've got an aeroplane over this way coming in from from Chicago. We've got an aircraft up here coming from Toronto or something, and then one over here coming from Washington National, which is where we've come from. So we've got all these aircraft coming in different directions towards us, right? But they're so far, well, they're separated enough. They're all of our different departure airports that our QNH is different, right? So let me do this. Look at the altitude on our main primary flight display and our altitude on our standby instruments. You can see there is a difference. So we'll call aircraft, all the different aeroplanes around us, aircraft 1, aircraft 2, aircraft 3, and so on. We're flying along at the moment, flight level 290, which is what we're just about to cross, climbing up to flight level 380. But aircraft 2 is flying at a QNH instead. So, for example, I don't know, 3018. And they're flying straight and level past us, and they're saying, right, we're at 30,000 feet, QNH 3018. If they stay at that altitude and at that QNH, and we go to a different QNH, you know what, actually that's confusing. Let me answer the question properly when we're at cruise, because then our altitude is different, it's stable. So don't let me forget, we've got 8,000 feet to go. I will then go through it in the cruise because it will make a bit more sense. We've got a few minutes then before we have to think about descent as well. It's a really good question, and it does need a bit of explaining to kind of understand it. And if it's explained properly, it will make perfect sense. But because we're climbing, it does get a bit confusing. So we'll explain it in the straight and level, flying at our cruise altitude of flight level 380. And that way you'll be able to visualize different aeroplanes around us. But what we will do is we'll imagine we've got an aeroplane like that coming towards us, even though he's not, he's flying our same route. And we've got an aeroplane flying towards us, we've got one coming from this side, and we've got one coming from this side, all flying to the same point at the same time. So that's what we've got to remember. So let's visualize BizX. So we're still climbing, but we can set the scenario, can't we? So we're flying towards BizX, and we're going to use it as an example and say that we are all the different aeroplanes are all 30 miles away flying at the same speed. And that's how we're going to set up this scenario to try and explain why do we fly at flight level instead of just leaving our altitude set to the QNH. Look at that. Beston, hello to you. First time catching a live daytime stream, sitting by the pool in Gran Canaria with a nice cold beer. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in whilst you're on holiday. Hope you're having a great vacation, a great holiday away. Well deserved, I'm sure. Jack Pilots just had a crashed desktop. That's not good. 7 hours down the drain. Oh, that sounds awful. Sorry about that. Night Shadow, good morning to you. Welcome. That river structure there is just spectacular. Where are we at the moment? So we're just passing Hartford, Connecticut, and that river goes through Glastonbury, Middleton, East Haddam, and then all the way out to Fenwick and Block Island Sound. Then off over that away, got New York all the way over there somewhere. How are we doing on the cruise? Almost there. Come on, girl, get up there. Anthony, yeah, sounds like you've done an alright job then, under those conditions. Very gusty. S-Tankert, welcome aboard as well. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. We're getting closer and closer every day to 20,000 subscribers, so thank you to everybody for being part of the channel and helping it grow. Come on, aeroplane, let's climb a bit quicker, shall we? Let's go max 7.7. That's gonna, in fact, we do 7.6. The aeroplane's gonna pitch up and increase our rate of climb up to flight level 380. So I'm artificially trying to increase our rate of climb. Yeah, Danny's putting in the live chat what we're about to talk about and discuss. But I'll try and explain it anyway, typing squirrel, because you've asked. I'll try my best to answer it as best as I possibly can. Artificially jump up to 7.5. Get the C chord in a second. Alrighty. let's explain why we use flight levels instead of altitude. So we departed Boston, didn't we, with an altimeter of, was it 3010 on the on our altimeter, yeah? So once we level off at 380, which is our flight level, the equivalent, which is the international sort of standard of 1013 decimal, is it 2 something? Anthony, because every country likes to have their own sort of rules. Set managed speeds, there we go. So, flight level 380. And we departed Boston 3010 on the altimeter. So you can see now here, compared to our standard pressure, which is 29902 in the States for HPA, or sorry, inches of mercury, or 1013 in our HPA, hectopascals. You can see that now there's a difference between our standard pressure, which is our flight level of 380, and the QNH that we departed from, 3010 out of Boston. And there's a difference of 140 feet. In fact, there's a difference of 160 feet. Actually, yeah, 160 to 180 feet difference. Okay, so what about if we departed from Boston and there's an aeroplane flying to BizX, the exact same speed and the exact same distance away from BizX, so we're closing it at the same time. We're on a flight level of 380, but they're on a flight level of what they think is 390, and it's a high pressure day. And hypothetically, we will say that where they departed from New York, it was 3097. Okay, so we've departed Boston at 3010, we've taken off and we're flying through a transition level, and we've gone to flight levels. And our QNH is set to the standard. Aircraft 2 has departed New York, 3097 on the altimeter. And they're flying at 39,000 feet. We're actually flying at the same altitude. Flying at the exact same altitude. So we're now flying at the same altitude, at the same speed and distance from BizX. And that means we're going to crash into one another. And that's why we use above a transition level a standard pressure, because we can have 5, 6, 7, 8 aircraft all in that same little square of sky, all flying at different altitudes, whether you be climbing, whether you be descending, and at some point our paths might cross and we might be close to one another. It happens a lot in airways as well. One aircraft's going one direction, another is going the opposite direction, and if we are all on standard pressure, it removes this big altitude discrepancy here, as you can see. Now if we go to standard pressure and we're all on standard pressure, straight away we're all at the same altitude. Hopefully I've explained that nicely. So to then kind of ask a continuing question from there. What's the difference between a transition altitude and a transition level? So, transition altitude is when you're climbing. You're already on the local pressure, and therefore you're flying to an altitude of, say, 3,000 feet, 5,000 feet. If the transition altitude is 6,000, at 6,000 feet you will change to standard pressure, and then you fly to flight levels. So beyond that point, the controller will then say, climb to flight level 70, or climb flight level 150. If you're below the transition level, you will get climb 4,000 feet, climb to 5,000 feet. If you're flying, as we are at the moment, in standard pressure, and therefore flying at a flight level, and we're then descending, like we will be soon, into Washington National, you'll get a transition level, and that will be around about 1,000 feet above the transition altitude, so that there is this protective buffer between the two. Therefore, you remove the risk of aircraft being at that same altitude without realising, like we've just spoke about. So when you're descending through a flight level into an altitude, you will be told descend altitude 5,000 feet or descend altitude 8,000 feet. So it's telling you you're going to be out of a flight level, and therefore you'll be coming out of standard pressure to the local QNH. So if we had a controller in Washington National and we're into our descent, we go through our transition altitude of 7,000 feet, or transition level, sorry, of 18,000 feet. What we will be told is descend altitude 15,000 feet, altimeter 3010, or something like that, and that tells you then what to do. It's a reminder to the pilots to change your altimeter settings. It removes the risk, or reduces, I should say, the risk of in-flight collision. Typing Squirrel, so oh, I see. Good. Thanks a lot for the very clear explanation. Really helped to see it visualised. Planes use the phrase flight level so that other pilots and ATC know they're on standard pressure. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And a lot of the more modern aircraft, especially the airliners, are all equipped with, is it mode S transponders? I think it is, which actually sends a lot of data to the controller. So on their radar screen, they can see what QNH you've got set, whether you're on standard pressure or if you're still on that local pressure of 3010. They can see your speed, they can see your altitude, and all that sort of stuff. Very, very smart tech. Hopefully, Typing Squirrel, it's helped. Yeah, you definitely need to see the charts. The charts will tell you what your transition altitudes are. They don't always tell you what your transition level is, and that is because it depends on the QNH of the day at the time. So if it's a very high pressure day, what you will find is the transition altitude might, for example, be 5,000, but the transition level will be flight level 70, and that's to keep that 1,000 foot buffer the same. Someone asking about what rolling cache is. What's the difference between rolling cache on and off? And in fact, Willie Canuck has already answered that. So he's saying there, rolling cache will hold downloaded scenery mesh and data locally on your hard drive, which helps if you tend to fly in the same region over and over again. If it's off, the sim has to download it and stream it as you're flying around. Jay, very rough start. Fenix was not behaving. Was late, just took off from Boston, figured I would be way behind, but really not too far. Eve, hello to you, welcome. Hope you're okay. And Danny saying Amsterdam uses flight level 045, or flight level 45, 80% of the time, although it's been given by ATC. So, yeah, as we were saying there, it depends on the airport, it depends on the QNH. So, let's use this as an example, shall we? In fact, we'll do 29902. So we're coming out of flight level into our local QNH, right? Our flight level's 380. Say, for example, we're going to go through transition level into an altitude of 36,000 feet. Now, if we're on a really high, or 37,000 feet, we're going to descend to. So we've got that artificial 1,000 foot buffer we can see here, right? You can see 380 on the flight level on the PFD, and then on the standby instrument we can see 29902 and 38,000 feet. If it's a high pressure day, if it's a low pressure day, high to low, down you go. You can see as we're reducing our altitude, our altimeter setting from 29902, the altitude on the display is actually reducing. So if our transition level is flight level 70, you can see here if the altitude is if the altimeter is now going to be 2982, we haven't got that 1,000 foot buffer anymore. Same with this, 3003, 381, we're actually higher than what we should be. So when we go to our local QNH, we've gained 100 feet, and therefore as we're descending, that gap's only, say, 800 or 900 foot of difference, not 1,000 feet. Therefore the transition level will be higher than what is usually the transition altitude. I'm hoping that makes sense. Altimetry is quite complex to get your head around. And I don't understand it 100% because it does take a lot to sort of get in your head. Lavian, hello to you. So, what about our arrival then? Because we're 40 miles from top of descent already. Wow, this is going quickly for the first leg. On to Navigraph. We don't need these Boston charts anymore, so let's unpin them. We'll declutter Navigraph, and then it gives us the Clipper 2 arrival, which is what we're going to be flying into Washington National with. So coming in from Modena, Nuggy, Troyes, Belay, Trish, Clipper, to the Baltimore VOR, and then inbound towards Washington. And actually, because of the weather, let's go METAR, DCA. Winds are currently 070 degrees at 5 knots. So what about the ATIS? ATIS at DCA. Landing and departing runway 1 and runway 33. Multiple approaches in effect. So, we could do the Mount Vernon runway 1 approach. We could fly into runway 33 if we want to as well. Runway 01 could be quite fun. What options do we have? So let's have a look at the charts properly on the list. Approaches. So runway 33 has only got an RNAV. That's boring. We were going to do the runway 01 ILS approach, but then I noticed the Mount Vernon visual hanging around there too. We've done the river visual before, runway 19. We love it. Such a great approach. Very challenging, very technical. You have to be very precise all the way through. But I thought, why not? Let's throw ourselves into the Mount Vernon visual runway 01 live. Never practiced it, never tried it. This is the first time ever flying into this in the sim ever. So we've got a bit of information. We've got Katrine, which is 10.7 miles from the threshold. We've actually got an ILS DME there as well, which is there to, I suppose, help us. But you can see the dashed line, the little arrows, that is the Mount Vernon river visual. So Katrine at 2,500 for Class B aircraft. We're not, we're Category C, so we might have to change that slightly. But we're going to then therefore focus on Baden, 6 miles from the threshold, recommended 1,600 feet. You can see Mount Vernon on the left. There's a prohibited area from the surface to 1,500 feet there. And we can see Washington Executive and Potomac airports on the right hand side on the charts there too. So we're going to fly up towards the runway to Baden, descending to 1,600 feet. Then actually we're going to break off slightly left. We're going to kick left over the river, the Potomac River. And then we're going to work to realign ourselves with the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, passing it around the centre point of the runway there as we fly our approach into Washington. We'll hand fly the whole thing because why not? There's a note of prohibited areas north of Reagan, which is the White House and all that sort of stuff up there. And we've also got some fixed rings to think about too. So we're going to tune the Washington VOR, 111.0 DCA. We're going to tune 6 DME arc, which is this. And that's going to show us where Baden is. So exactly there, it's 5.6 DME. We're going to get Baden. The initial ring, that blue ring there on the inside, is 5 miles from the VOR. And then beyond that is 10 miles. So if we set a 10-mile fixed ring, we know we're going to have to be around 2,400 feet or so. So let's set that. VATSIM, no worries, hello to you. So, KDCA, arrival. Is it in there? 01, so it must be. So what we could do is tune ILS01 because that is, what is it on the screen? Yeah, goes in via Katrin. And then we'll hand fly it. Clipper 2. Transition via MXC. Which is there. It's about 60 miles away. And approach vias. No vias. That's fine. Let's insert it. And we're going to check the legs page. Clipper BAL, eyes, brunk, VLT, HETEC, speed limit point, CAV-D, and then manual. Interesting. HETEC, CAV-D. And I was expecting then to see Katrin. But instead we've just got manual followed by a discontinue. Oh, there we go. Lovely stuff. Because on the charts it's telling us to vector ourselves from CAV-D to Katrin. Aaron, that means you've got your FlightSim ATC still connected. Ah, top of descent's just changed. Phantom, good afternoon. Unfortunately missed the first part of the stream. Did anything exciting happen? We had a real wrestle with the Fenix aircraft. It completely just was refusing to push back, full stop, bizarrely enough. There we go. Here's a prime example. 3020, right, compared to flight level 380. So, local pressure in Washington is actually 250 feet above that of standard pressure. So we're actually lower. We appear to be lower than we're actually supposed to be. Hopefully that makes sense. Typing scroll, well that's fine if that's the case, because you've changed into a transition level. You've gone through the transition altitude. So if it's a very high pressure day and then you go to standard pressure and it drops the altitude by 1,000 feet or so, and all of a sudden your altitude shows that you're climbing back through transition altitude, that's absolutely fine. What's the temperature? 25 degrees. Positively balmy. And then for the Mount Vernon visual, weather minimum ceiling of 3,000. That'll do us. And what do we need to be at MXC? Nothing. Nuggy, non-turbojets expect to cross at 11,000 feet at Nuggy. That's only 20 miles. Okay, well that's incorrect. We need... I bet now top of descent's going to have an absolute fit. Sorry, 12,000. I might have got that wrong. Boop. Where's Trish? I can't remember what it was. Get 18 in. So 18, 6. That's probably a bit more realistic. Set 320 for a second. Just going to check this. Set 18. I feel like it's having a bit of a fit because it's getting me really nose down. What the hell? What is the Fenix doing today? 6,000 feet per minute? Jesus Christ, people's ears are going to be popping and bleeding in the back. Why does anybody need that rapid descent? That's a bit better. We'll get to Nugget 18 and we'll continue descent to 12 via Trish. Or 4 Trish I should say, but 6,000 foot per minute. What on earth was that all about? I've never seen that in the sim before. Spilled G&T descent, absolutely. Oh yeah, buckle up everybody. You guys think that's wild. You wait till you see me try and pull off the this river visual thing in a minute. It's going to be absolute carnage, I think, at this rate if the aeroplane's behaving like this. What am I doing? MCDU, ATSU, AOC, receive messages, send delay card. Nah, bagger off. For 1 minute? Absolutely not. Records we're 17,000 feet above vertical deviation, but if we're supposed to be at 18,000 at Nuggy and our rate of descent is that would suggest to me like we're on profile at this rate of descent, would it not? And it's almost about 2.5 degrees. That's rather, I mean, we're catching it now. Once the ball appears back in there, I'll potentially reset. Back to like a VNAV. Angelo in the Philippines, welcome. God, I didn't realise today would be this stressful. Or this chaotic. Those of you in the States, what are you doing for the 4th of July today? Hopefully, are you celebrating? If so, what are you doing? Let us know in the live chat as we descend into Washington National. By the way, those of you in Australia, we were talking in the club lounge and Discord the other day about, what's it called? Caramilk, Cadbury Caramilk, and wow, slightly obsessed already. Okay, now this is starting to come into play a little bit more, look. Our vertical deviation was fine, I don't understand why it suddenly got that confused. Ryan, what are we Americans doing? You were looking at it. Yeah, flight simming. Chaz is hitting breweries and a barbecue, very nice. Jay's going to a family cookout later with friends, maybe throw some tea in the harbour. Ooh, explain that one. Gav, yeah, I've had two little blocks of caramel prior to today's live stream. There's our ball, so we're getting back onto our VNAV rate of descent. Let's watch it try and chase. So it's literally just gone nose down to 5 degrees, 4,000 foot per minute. Would a real Airbus A320 do that in real life? Surely not. God, it's getting really confused. Trish at 12. Through transition now, folks, so onto the ball, 3020. Reference to Boston Tea Party, one of the events leading up to America declaring independence from King George of England. Just God, we're learning it all today, aren't we? Wow. We'll retain the same call sign for the flight to JFK, the second leg of today, just because. If we depart 01 as well, I think we have to do a crazy departure, which I've never done before, which you take off and then you instantly sweep left to get away from the White House and all that sort of thing. Now we're descending nicely, we've got 1,500 feet per minute, thank you aeroplane, much, much better. Doc saying fly-by-wire's VNAV is better than this. Wow, that's saying something. I think for this next leg I'm going to use a blend of both airline announcements and also the Luke Air Tour, so we get a really nice range of American Airlines announcements. So just firing it up now to see what's into the descent options.
To prepare for landing, please close your tray table and put away carry-on items. Place your seat in the original upright position. We will now collect any items you wish to discard. Please put away larger electronic devices, including laptop computers.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Those of you who've hit the subscribe button so far, thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the live stream.
Devices must remain in airplane mode until after we land.
Got landing rate monitor fired up 2 ready.
Soon.
And if we go back to, is it Navigraph? Yes. There's our current position, Belay, and then Trish, which is expected to cross at 12,000 feet for turbojets. And then at Baltimore, it's expected to cross at 10,000. So let's check that. There we go. A little bit of tweaking in the routing there, just to sort of simulate as if ATC is telling us cross Baltimore at 10,000 feet. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding it into the system instead, the MCDU, in the legs page, so the airplane knows what to do itself. And I'm also going to now clear the discontinuity between. In fact, no, I'm going to leave the discontinuity here between Cavdy and Katrin. because you can see on the charts as we go further here, we've got CAVD, and then it's the little identifier there for vectors beyond that point. So from there, we're going to then be heading right and back on ourselves to then try and head to Catherine, and then we'll just hand fly it in. What could possibly go wrong? Crazy acceleration there. Medium auto brake. Back to tell me.
10,000 feet, tracking 1 2 mile bolt.
Do the landing calculations, folks. Dexter, welcome.
Arrival for runway 01. Washington trip.
So DCA 01, dry, apply. The latest METAR, it's a slight crosswind for us. Landing weight. .53, 56.9 at the moment. I'll estimate 56. Low auto brake. Max reverse. Right, yeah, we'll go for that. And if it doesn't work out for us, for whatever reason that might be, if, for example, our reverse fails, like it did earlier on the ground at Boston, revert to manual brakes instead to try and fight the aeroplane. Flap. Yeah, awesome. That'll do us. Now let's see what happens here, because I've gone slightly above vertical deviation, and Jesus Christ, how has this VNAV been signed off? There's the VNAV ball, look at that, and then it's waited to pass it, and then the aeroplane's gone, oh shit, and now it's not even trying to recover. I mean, there's the VNAV ball, look. What is it doing? It needs to be a lot more proactive. It's just ignored it. So if you end up above the vertical deviation, or you end up above the VNAV path, and you then activate managed descent, what it will then do is just whack the nose down to about, well, what did it hit then? About 7 degrees, which is just insane. Imagine that as a passenger. And then even though we went below the VNAV ball, VNAV path, it just carried on at 4,000 foot per minute until it leveled off at 10,000. Rather odd, rather strange. I've not experienced that for a long time, actually, that sort of behaviour in an aeroplane. Schutz has had the nose down issue before with the Fenix. It's a symptom of using toolbar pushback. The sim thinks the tug is still attached. It's been on their Discord. But the thing is, we've confirmed that the tug isn't attached anymore in both the overhead and in here. And how is it that the aeroplane thinks, I mean, say for example that is the case, right? And I'm not saying at one moment they're not telling the truth, but I'm suggesting there's got to be more to it. Because it's fine in every other aeroplane. All of the other aeroplanes I've got installed in the sim, they do not behave like this.
3003, taking off runway 28, departing to the north.
And we've had some very weird behaviour today. Very, very weird behaviour that I just can't describe or explain. So that, I mean, the aeroplane in conjunction with toolbar pushback, it's obviously not a match made in heaven at all, but I would like to see Fenix be more proactive in solving it, rather than waiting for a third-party developer to fix it, because ultimately, the guy behind toolbar pushback might not fix it for a very, very long time. And similarly, you might not bother because it works for every other aeroplane. It's a tough one. There's an aeroplane there. Got to watch him. He is 8 miles ahead. You mean turn it off here? Like that? Interesting. Mike's saying just go to your toolbar settings, turn off toolbar pushback, use it for pushback itself, but then disable it. It's a known compatibility issue with Fenix. So I know it's a compatibility issue with Fenix, but I'd like to see more proactivity in getting it solved from whoever. Doesn't matter who, but toolbar pushback is obviously a mod that quite a lot of us really enjoy, and I mean, I'd probably describe it as being a mandatory add-on for MSFS. So it's frustrating to have to uninstall it to use one aeroplane. And I know it's not just me having a whinge. There's a lot of people saying the same thing across various Discord platforms. But for toolbar pushback to cause the aeroplane to behave so bizarrely, it's just a bit odd. I mean, in contrast, the pushback inside the tablet for Fenix is just awful. I've not once, I don't think, been able to do a nice, smooth pushback. In fact, no, I'll correct myself there. I've done one nice pushback in all of the flights with the Fenix A320, although that was just a bit of a fluke, I think, at the time. John, I had a test flight last night in the Fenix. I landed perfectly, but then for some reason it started to crab all over the runway after touchdown. So, what was your touchdown rating? Was it very smooth? Was it sort of like minus 65 foot per minute? Because for those of you who remember my stream into Heraklion a little while ago, we did a very smooth landing. It was around about 60 or so foot per minute. All very normal, all fine. And then out of nowhere, the aeroplane swerved off the runway.
Traffic Osprey 722, 3,500 feet, 7 mile selfie on the Clipper to start for runway 01, Washington traffic.
Washington National Traffic Southwest 2820 will be taxiing from gate Alpha 4 to runway 1, Washington National.
National Traffic American 2122 A320 inbound, descending through 8,000 feet for the Mount Vernon visual runway 01 approach, I believe number 2. There's the White House and things down there. That is it. Washington Monument. Get the name of it. The White House is over here somewhere. There's Washington National, and the beautiful river visual comes sweeping down the river there. But our approach is going to bring us in through this river instead. There's runway 01's threshold. So at this point we can kind of visualise what we want to do. Now that big road there should have a bridge on it. I don't think it's part of the scenery, so it might just be a gap. So we're going to have to rely on seeing the major roads either side of this body of water to then work out roughly where the bridge is actually going to be, and then we're going to work through our descent at that point. Yeah, that is the solution, MPS Gaming. In this, you have to land slightly firmer than you would in anything else. Otherwise, you just go veering off the runway. But it's difficult to control, isn't it? It's difficult to work that out sometimes. You know what we need to do? Getting sidetracked about different various issues.
National
DCA.
Traffic Southwest 2820 is crossing runway 422, Washington International.
Triple 10, and I want. Sorry, I want 6 miles. And I want 10. There we go. Now I've got some fixed rings. Lovely. Crazy play. Now where's the aeroplane ahead of us? That's going to be really important. Because I want to give us enough spacing. Missed approach for this. On the charts, missed approach. No missed approach procedure. So basically, we're just going to bug out left up the river. The reverse to the visual, I think. 310 as well. I forgot. I'm getting very sidetracked today of various topics. Get all the lights and signs on as required. Okay. There's the aeroplane now, turning.
Washington National Traffic Southwest 2820 departing runway 1, Washington National.
Washington Executive is just down here.
Osprey 722, tracking direct Catherine for the ILS.
There it is.
Runway 01, Washington traffic.
Wow, crazy drone camera. Oh, John, lovely. What's going on today? Over in Brum? Typing Squirrel, another good question. So I'll use Heathrow as a primary example there. London Heathrow, of course, a very, very, very long runway. And what you'll find a lot of the time is because there's a requirement for minimum runway occupancy at these big international airports as well. All of the Airbus A320s that will fly in will use config mode flap 3. So the mode in there and in the MCDU, and they will land flaps 3, so slightly quicker, and they will use low auto brake, but they will most likely, pretty much all of the time, as they touch down, they will go to reverse idle. So they'll go reverse green, but it will be in the idle position up here instead of max reverse. So the system's engaged, it's ready just in case they need to use it, but they shouldn't necessarily need to. So, good question, good question. National Traffic American 2122 turning base. Alberta, good morning, welcome.
Southwest 2820 clear runway 1 over at Washington National.
Is there a 6 runway track?
Washington National, Osprey 722, established on the ILS runway 01, 9 miles. Washington.
3,000, that was the ceiling minimums. We're fine. We're going to bust through that. It's going to go orange to tell us. We'll continue.
Minimum.
Happy days. Let's go flat 1. Reset the view. That'll be 15 miles, number 2. Yes, generic pilot asking about purchasing Executive Designs Washington National Airport for MSFS. It is one of the most incredibly nice sceneries that you could purchase. So yeah, I can highly, highly recommend it. We've flown into it multiple times. It's got some wonderful approaches that you can enjoy as well. Highly recommend it. the track FPA mode. And why not? Let's just hand fly it in from 2,000 feet, I think. Set 3 for missed approach, just in case. Okay. So at this point, we needed to do a little wiggle. Just don't want to go up, I want to go down. National traffic, American 2122 is 10 mile final visual approach runway 1. Get rid of the flight directors. Just want the bug. Do 150 till 4. Vernon is the next little arrow, or next little fixed ring there, so we are going to continue our descent down to about 1.6 around Vernon. Alexander's dropping in the first landing rate estimate. Dock with 212. Typing swirl, so it's down to you as the pilot to work the track out in the general aviation aircraft. So when I'm flying the PA-28, I'm flying to a heading, but I've got to work out what the track is based upon what the aeroplane's doing. Here, as an example, we've got a 10 knot crosswind, so that little bug there is actually where the aeroplane's going, which is towards the threshold. So we're actually crabbing in at the moment. No, you don't. Right, get rid of auto thrust. Because now I'm going to have to manually handle the throttle. Brilliant.
722, clear. Washington traffic.
First time I had to do this in an Airbus.
Clear runway 01. Washington traffic.
Okay, so there's a little kink here. We've got to go right a little bit. Got asymmetric thrust going on as well. Got to go right a little bit, and then according to the charts, we go left. Go left a bit, and then we go right a bit. To then head over the centre of the bridge, which is there, which is great. Yeah, it was that weird auto thrust bug again, isn't it? That we had going into, where did we fly into? You know what? I can't remember where we flew into. The auto thrust completely warped out and tried to give us toga. So yeah, just turn it off. Just turn it off. I'm manually flying this and manually handling the throttle now, so we have no manage mode currently. Over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, there she is. Checking our speed. Still slightly high, but actually I'm just going to let it bleed off somewhat. We've got 2 red, 2 white on the Pappies at the moment, so we've got to maintain that rate of descent. About 600 feet per minute. With a 4 knot crosswind. It's slightly variable, sometimes it goes a little up. Yeah, if in doubt, just turn the automation off, fly it in yourself. I think I'll be doing this today, that's for sure. Not in the Airbus. In the Boeing, I love it. It's manual anyway. It's down to you as the pilot. But the Airbus kind of does its own thing, and you're just kind of a system manager. First time ever doing this approach, though. It's actually quite nice as well in its own right. Beautiful approach lighting system there over the water. Looking at the touchdown zone, the aiming point, and to the end of the runway for the depth
50,
perception.
40, 30, 20,
Idle the throttle,
5,
holding the flare, and we are single reverse idle, manual brakes. Yeah, reverse isn't working.
National Ascot 2205, 10 miles finals, runway 01, Boston traffic.
Yeah, no reverse there. We had reverse green idle on engine 2 on the display, but nothing on engine 1. This is not wanting to behave today, is it? Very, very strange. How's that for a touchdown and a manually flown approach though, folks? National Traffic American 2122 vacated at November. Taxi to gate Delta 39 via the apron. Delta 39 is up there. November. So that's why, I mean, it pays to look. So you hear pilots say reverse green, and that's because that's a physical check basically of the systems. So I could only see reverse green on engine 2 and it was only on idle. Mike saying might be worth between flights to completely exit the sim and restart from scratch. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating though because I shouldn't have to. I might just switch to the Aerosoft CRJ for the second leg. It's been one thing after another today. It's really, really strange.
For your comfort and safety, please remain seated and keep your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns
Mind you,
on
I've updated the CRJ recently. I don't think I've loaded in with it for a little while, so it's going to be like a 10-minute wait time for that.
Before leaving, please be sure you have all your belongings. Be careful when
What do you
opening
reckon,
your
guys?
overhead
Quick
bins.
shout up in the live chat. Keep it as it is, continue in the Fenix, or switch to the Aerosoft CRJ. Just pop A320 or CRJ into the live chat quickly, and we'll make a decision on the fly. 39 might have a
ladies and gentlemen,
rare on
we'll
it.
be arriving at gate T9, and your baggage claim will be number 10. Baggage claim
Oh,
for
no,
American
cool,
Airlines
39, it's
here,
clear.
and it is across from gate T12 down the escalators. The escalators across from gate T12. Down those
We've had a fight with this today for the last hour and a half, haven't we?
On behalf of all the employees of
Good
American
grief.
Airlines, we'd like to thank you for
Oh,
flying with us
wow.
once again. Thank you for flying American Airlines, a member of the One World Alliance.
Once I'm in the sim, unless I get a crash to desktop, I do not want to have to restart the sim. It's just not something that anybody wants to have to do. On the fly, Aaron, pun intended indeed. Indeed, yes. Been ages since we've been in the CRJ, to be fair. Jolly good. And we will spot. Ah, brilliant. Hopefully spot some landings.
2205 is indicated in Mike.
You can see some others on approach. Nice Ospreys dotted around. Let's shut her down, shall we? It's about 50-50. Is it a Sobo scenery DCA? No, it's Drazeki Designs. It's one of the best scenery that you can get in MSFS. It is really nice. The links are in the description for this today as well, I believe. So you can find where to get it all from. Oh, we want seatbelts off as well. All right. New flight. What's the worst that could happen? Let's just crack on. If I have to, I'll hand fly the whole thing again. Jay's asking what the route to JFK is. Ooh, question. Warhawk, hello. Heard the voice. Just spotted out at DCA prior to your landing. It was like, I know that voice. Welcome to DC. Thank you very much. 40-minute en route time for this one. And interestingly,
United 289 is just about to step C01 right localized about 8 miles from
it's only 17,000 feet surface altitude for this, for the cruise apparently. Which is not even flight level. That's 17,000 according to Doc's flight planning. And I'm just going to stick with American 2122 for simplicity, because in real life this is done in an Embraer, but it's done by Endeavour, I think it is, with a completely different call sign. Brickyard for their call sign as well. That's all already done. Aston balance. Still deboarding. Hey, bit of PMDG 737 love right there. Andrew B, yeah, wish Fokker 28 was out by now, that would be quite cool. I think we're kind of desperate to get some decent long haulers though, some twin aisles, aren't we? I'm really looking forward to things like the Aerosoft A330, PMDG 777 as well is going to be awesome. Joel, welcome on board, thanks for subscribing to the channel, great to have you on board with us today.
Traffic Delta 433 and the visual runway 1, national. Washington traffic on 3121,
Use American 4687. Okay, Doc, no worries, I shall. We don't want to trigger the doctor, do we, folks? We've done it many a times. We've done it many a times before. We can't, because it belongs to somebody else. We'll leave it as it is. Can't use the one that we want anyway. What was the flight plan altitude there? 25,000. Interestingly, V-Pilot / Simbriefs give me 25,000 for cruise. No, Philadelphia, Trenton. Alright, well, actually, let's then look at Navigraph. So we can look at all the charts and we can consider the data that it gives us in that instance then. So Sid, Doctor 5, that's the one. So after departure for us, we're going to be, what's that, 01 isn't it? So yeah, heading north, then we're going to go left 331 degrees to Revgi, max 220 at 1,500 and or above, climbing up against the river basically, probably hand fly this first section if we can, and then get autopilot on. Max 250 at Dogue, and then turning right, outbound to Doctor, and then Dupont via or Agard. I think it's, we're going via Agard as the transition.
Washington National Traffic, Delta 7070 on 10-mile final.
And then a short little leg
one visual.
Up to Cameron, which is then going to bring us in.
National Traffic Delta
Going in via
433, short
CI.
final, runway 1, national.
Fans, Victor 44. Hans is there. Cameron, expect 250 at 11,000, so we're going to manually add that in. So then the V-Pilot can work itself out. That's 12 miles, that's 13 miles. Let's pin that, and then we're expecting 3-1 right, I think. There we go. So vectors from that point. Little bit of work to do on this next leg. Be interesting. Here comes another approach. Vernon, hello. Ask you, why am I flying the Fenix? 737's better. You know what? We've not been in the Fenix for a while, and I enjoy it a lot. So, whilst I enjoy the 737 more, and I've had a lot less issues with it, and can use toolbar pushback with it without problem, it's nice to dust off the Fenix as well, because it has been about 2 weeks since we last flew it. Lovely CRJ inbound here. Beautiful touchdown there. That was CRJ. Great effort. There's an aircraft we've not flown in a very long time. Gav, thank you very much, buddy. Really appreciate the super chat. Thanks for all of your support.
National traffic Delta 433, vacated runway 1.
National traffic Delta 1770, short final for runway 1. National traffic.
Telling us to be 25,000 feet, so I think, you know what, why not? We'll just we'll follow what the real flight plans have done in recent times, and that's fly at 17,000 feet instead. Somebody else on short final, see if we can catch them. Couple of minutes, well, I say that, it's probably about a minute left. Okay, so we want to load the aeroplane now. We'll do fast time, 9 minutes. Hopefully, this second trip is going to be a lot less dramatic. He says. Newark approaches online. Let's just check the next phase, lovely. Timed that perfectly, just quickly thrown the SID in. Yeah, Alberto, absolutely. Another 737. Much loved aeroplane at the moment then in the SID. There's an Alaskan tail I can spot over there as well. Looks like a Southwest as well. It is a great scenery, this. Made by one of the best in flight sim. That looked like a great 737 touchdown, didn't it? Bam, runway. Tarmac, oosh. Here we are. Oh, that's obviously a static. That's rather blurry. Back to the flight deck. And we're going to have to think about loading everything up. So we want our V speeds and things. MBS Gaming saying he really likes Navigraph. Yeah, definitely if you're doing a lot of simming, it's very much worthwhile. He's had that since he had FSX. I was a member of SVA, Scandinavian Virtual Airlines, for a long time. Very nice.
National traffic Delta 7070 is vacated at Charlie. National traffic.
Axe on, sync weather, give us our speeds. So this time, it wants 131, 140, 140, 1/down 0.4, flex of 57, 1020, 1020, 1020. Captain Kenobi, welcome on board. Joe, just go to the AIG website, download their installer. That will give you everything you need. It's you're going to be in it for the long haul though. It's going to be a little while. We can't add that in yet. We can add this data in though, and it will give us our preliminary load sheet. What was that? Intercept. Okay, that's fine. That's good. We leave that there. It reckons flaps 1. This is a fairly short runway, but we're using a much lower flex, so we're demanding more from the engine. Welcome aboard, I love everyone. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Ooh, let's reset that rudder trim. 0.7. Want. Okay, well that's interesting. Look. Can I move it remotely? No, apparently not. I can't move my trim. Wow. Now that is strange. Not experienced that before. How are we doing on boarding? Still a little bit to go. Fuel's good. Almost 100 likes, 99 likes. Thank you everybody, really appreciate that. Let's have a little look at the MCD menu. ETSU. Yeah, I've received messages. So there we go, there's our load sheet. With a prelim, 0 fuel weight 58.7. Landing weight 62.0. Center of gravity 0 fuel weight 31.6. And takeoff center of gravity 30.2. We'll have to compare this against our stuff later on. Doc, you make a good point. And Alberto and team level. Thanks for reminding me. 0.2. Done that, done that, done that. We're keeping the same call sign. We're only going to cruise at 17,000, so we're going to stay on local QNH. Louis, the link's in the description. It's Drzecki Designs. You can get it on Orbex. While we're here, there's quite a few that seems never seen the airport scenery before. We've flown into here quite a few times, but let me show you the inside here. There's an animated train over there, but you wait for this. When I first saw this airport, it blew my mind. Right, through the glass. Look at this. Absolutely spectacular. How stunning. And performance here is incredible. Bearing in mind it is seriously detailed and it is exquisitely textured. We go outside briefly to the forecourt. We've got the tower, we've got the modelling of the Ford Explorers outside. Yeah, Drzecki Designs, Washington National Airport for MSFS. Look at the glass. M4, yes. It's funny because Airbus is so automated, it does breed an element of complacency. the same time I've been flying Boeing a lot, which is why when the auto thrust had a fit and it fitted out a little bit and it went a bit gammy, we just reacted to it, just turned the system off. That's it. Yeah, at night, Captain D Kenobi, this is a beautiful airport as well. It is exceptionally good. Some of these static models as well with the tugs will occasionally push back from stand slightly and then go back in again. That's weird. My drone camera appears to be stuck. What's the worst that can happen? If we crash the desktop, we'll pick something else. 156, 156, 21, 58.6, 232, that's good, and 31.4 actually, some revised figures. Matthew, great choice in name usage. We don't say he who must not be named's name. Don't get to firewall ATC and then have the use of your own name. Yeah, I remember you telling me the story of that actually, which is why it's resonated, and I've remembered the story so vividly, which is why we're calling it National Washington National today, and not the other name. 31.4. Okay. That's good, 17, cost index of 30. Alternate is Boston anyway, we've got the fuel for that. And we've got our legs in as well. So we've got Alex Lim, Doe, Teese, Top Climb, Reese, Doctor, Agar, Donnell, AC, Pans. Gamby, Cameron, nothing. So ILS 31 right with no star, but we want the approach via Atod. So 20, that's good. Got another company message. ATSU, AOC, received messages. That's the arrival message there.
Denver 3390, 5 mile final, 1 right, or runway 1, Washington.
Yeah, Mac, hello to you, good morning. Happy 4th of July. 11 minutes to push. What is complete, isn't it? So, where's the mass and balance? Yeah, 156, that's all good. Burning a little bit of fuel. Aircraft is showing loaded. Jocks cones. We didn't bother with GPU. What else do we need to do? 3020 is all good. Let's get the flight directors back on. We need to come off track FPA mode. And the flight directors are actually going to tell us where to go during our hand-flown initial bit of the departure as we turn left over the river. And the initial climb is at or above 5,000, which is also the top altitude of the SID. Five and 5. Now let's see what happens here. Spawn the tug. So now we've taken toolbar pushback out the top here. Big question is, will it work? Make sure I've refreshed Valanta. And the Fly Life Studio overlay for you guys too. Get rid of the music. Okay. Let's get the part brake off.
Endeavour 3390, clear, runway 1.
Back we go.
Reagan to the KBOS, Kilo. Reagan.
National traffic, American 2122's push start from stand. Delta 39. I'm just not a fan of this pushback at all. I can never get it neat. That we're going to overshoot, we're going to be over here somewhere, I think. Oh well. This is why I think I'd rather Fenix actually actively try and find a solution to fix the issues that it has with compatibility with toolbar pushback, because it's the only aeroplane where we have this problem, and this pushback system in the EFB is just rubbish. And we're just going to, let's stop pushback. Part brake, disconnect tug. That's the best we can do. It's just not neat, is it? Hey ho. I digress. Company message while the engines are starting. Let's have a wee look. I mean, it's little things that never really bothered me that much with the aeroplane. Things like the auto start for the program. It never auto starts for me anymore, so I always end up with a bricked aircraft whenever I load in. Initially I didn't mind, but now every time I fly it, it's becoming more and more frustrating, because I'm getting in, it's bricked, I've got to then start the program. That's very, very minor, but as there's somebody flying against the active, that's interesting. But yeah, I think when it comes to the aeroplane, things like the pushback, I mean, that's a key part of the immersive experience, isn't it? If the pushback's messy, and then we've had the issues that we've had all the way throughout today so far, which is really bizarre, just for having a pushback mod installed, it does ruin the experience quite a bit for me. It's starting to get a bit frustrating. I tolerated it before, I didn't mind it before, but yeah, it's getting annoying now. Dealt with, don't worry about it, folks. I know you'll be catching up in the live chat in about 20-30 seconds saying panic, panic, but they're already removed. Sashin, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Peeks around the corner and whispers, "Mad dog." Yeah. Right, safety demonstration time.
Welcome aboard American Airlines Flight 20. We ask that you please direct your attention to the monitors located throughout
Flaps
the cabin
1 plus
for a brief
F,
safety
and we go
message
max
about
order
aircraft.
brake.
Your attention, please.
That's good. We're going to have to bear in mind we probably don't have an active or working reverse thrust again, so that's going to influence our arrival again. But JFK's got a beautifully long runway, so all good.
Made possible by our more than 130,000 dedicated team members.
I'll break off, let's rock and roll.
We'll do it for one reason.
National traffic, American 2122, taxi to hold point, runway 01.
So let's go over some in-flight instructions so that we can get you safely on your way. To buckle your seatbelt, insert the metal end into the buckle and pull the strap to tighten. To open, lift the top of the buckle. If you're seated in the premium cabin and your seat is also equipped with a shoulder belt, fasten the belt by attaching it to the buckle until you hear a click. If you're seated in the premium
Join the
cabin
vids, it's
and
always
your
good to
seat is
hear.
equipped with a push
Thank you
button,
very much.
insert the metal end into the buckle
Even
and
when
pull
we
the
have
strap to
problems.
tighten. Then fasten
Even
your
with
shoulder
technical
belt by
issues
attaching
and
it to
whatever
the
else is
buckle until
happening.
you hear a click.
I have faith
To
this
open,
next
simply
sector will
press
be a
on
lot
the
better.
button. The shoulder belt must
pushback's
be worn
working.
during taxi, takeoff, and
So that's a huge plus.
And remember, seatbelt
So I
should
feel
be
like this is
fastened
going to be a
whenever
little
you're
bit
seated in case of
more.
unexpected turbulence. Now,
It's
make
gonna
sure
be
your
safer
seat is
for
upright.
us.
All larger electronic devices are put away. Carry-ons are placed all the way under the seat in front of you, and your tray table is stowed. Larger carry-on luggage goes in the overhead bin.
Now we've got a
If you have a
controller.
handheld device, please
Let me come
switch
to a
into
halt.
airplane mode now. If your electronic device falls into your
Reagan,
seat, please do
traffic,
not adjust
sorry,
your
correction,
seat
national
and contact
traffic,
a crew
American
member for
2122 is just holding position,
U.S. law prohibits
changing
smoking,
to
including
DC Center.
e-cigarettes at any time. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors in the lavatories may result in a fine. U.S. law requires all to comply with lighted and posted signs and crew member instructions. Now let's review the safety card in your seat pocket, which explains
It's given
the
us
safety features of
flight
this
level
airplane,
250
including
anyway,
the
so we're going to have to
location
change
and operation
that.
of exits and flotation devices. This aircraft is designed with escape path lighting on or near the floor. In the unlikely event of an
sign.
evacuation,
Transponder
leave all
0535.
carry-ons behind and follow the lights quickly and safely to the nearest exit. A sign will indicate you have reached your exit. All exits on this airplane are clearly marked. Take a moment to locate the nearest one. Keep in mind, it may be behind you. All door exits have evacuation slides to use in the unlikely event of an emergency. In a water evacuation, slides may be used as life rafts. You'll find the exact
Let's get the brakes
location
off for
on
a
your safety
second,
card.
and as we change,
When
we'll
directed
go
to exit, jump onto the
133725.
slide and move away from the airplane. If the cabin loses pressure, oxygen masks will drop automatically. While remaining seated with your seatbelt fastened, pull down on the mask or the red streamer to start the flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth, and put the elastic band over your head. Then pull the straps to tighten and breathe normally.
133725.
Remember to always put your own mask on first before helping others.
5122, Reagan National, holding
Life vests are located
one, ready
under,
to
next
taxi,
to, or
runway
between
1.
your seat. For
American
help locating
5122,
them, see your safety
Washington Center, good
To
morning.
remove the vest,
Runway 1,
pull the
taxi
tab
via
or
Kilo,
compartment
Kilo
handle
5,
to break
Juliet.
the seal. Remove the vest
Runway
from the
1 via
package like
Kilo,
this.
Kilo 5, Juliet.
Put the vest over your head,
122.
wrap the strap around your waist, attach the buckle, and pull tight.
Washington
Once
Center,
outside,
good morning,
pull the
American
tab to inflate your
2122.
vest,
It's
or
just
blow
holding
into the red
position
tube.
at
In the
Kilo
water, a
November
light on your vest
with
will
PDC
automatically
request taxi.
illuminate. If necessary,
American
an infant life
2122,
vest will
Washington
be
Center, good
distributed
morning.
by a
Runway
crew
1,
member.
taxi
The
via
safety
Kilo,
card shows
Kilo
how to
5,
use it.
Juliet.
It's our
Hold
honor
short,
to care for
runway
you on your
22.
journey.
Correction, hold short,
If you
runway
have any
4,
questions,
Squawk Charlie,
please refer
please.
to the safety card or feel free to ask any of the cabin crew as they do their final cabin check. And as always,
Taxi
let us know if
Kilo,
there's anything we
Kilo
can
5,
do to make your
Juliet,
journey more
hold,
enjoyable.
short 04, and squawk mode Charlie, American 2122.
American Airlines. We fly so you can soar.
American 7544, Washington Center, good morning. Stand by for clearance.
Where's my charts? Where's my charts? Where's my charts? Kilo 2345, 5's there. Okay, I've got that on the charts, and then Juliet, hold position 04. Okay, that makes sense. I can visualize that. DCA ATIS. Wind 060 at 6. Information Delta 3020. We go spoilers arm.
American
And
805,
1+F is set, so takeoff config test and all green.
Clearance to JFK.
American 805, Washington Center, stand by for PDC.
Thanks.
VATSIM, so the calibration isn't an issue. Nothing, like we said at the start, nothing has changed with the way the aircraft is actually set up since I last
American
used it.
7544, hold short, Kilo, taxi and traffic. Hold short, Kilo, American 75. American 5122, cross runway 4 at Juliet.
Cross 4 at Juliet, 5122.
Interesting. Well, he's cleared us to 250 dock. I did refile for 17,000 though.
Washington Center, good morning. Expect PDC.
All good. Oh yeah. Geez, fixed again.
American 2122, squawk mode Charlie, please.
Escort mode Charlie, American 2122. I definitely have.
American 7544, runway 1, taxi via Kilo, Kilo 5, Juliet. Follow your company traffic, crossing from left to right.
Kilo, Kilo 5, Juliet, and follow the company traffic.
Okay, that's done it.
American 5122, the wind 060 at 6, runway 1, clear for takeoff.
Runway 1, clear for takeoff, American 5122.
Hey, look at that Southwest livery. That's all looking good. He's clear takeoff. Generic pilot, yeah, so there is one available. It's Virtual Collar, I think have created it, but it is one of the worst add-ons payware that you can get. It's pretty shocking, to be honest. I had nothing good to say about it, except for I think the exterior model, and that was where the nice stuff ended. But yeah, really don't recommend that at all.
Washington Center, Osprey 722, stand Charlie 31 with information Delta, request IFR clearance to JFK, please.
Osprey 722, Washington Center, hello, expect PDC.
Expect PDC, Osprey 722.
So for this first section, as we depart, we're going to fly to the flight directors, so I might not have enough time to actually look outside and enjoy the scenery.
Squawk 0517.
0517 in the box, 174.
Yeah, but I've refiled dock to 170.
Washington Center, good morning. In a 352, we were on our way to 1 Center until you locked on clearance to Boston.
Before the PDC.
Yeah, 352 Washington Center, good morning. Expect PDC and I'll have clearance for you shortly after. American 2122, cross runway 4 at Juliet.
What's runway 04 at Juliet, American 2122?
American 7544, cross runway 4 at Juliet.
Cross 4 at Juliet, American 7544.
American 5122, radar contact, the altitude please.
American 5122, 5000.
American 5122, climb correction position checks, climb maintain flight level 290, proceed direct Pansy.
Interestingly, I've put the strobes on, but it seems to have then turned the nose lights off.
United 352, runway 1 center, taxi via Zulu, Yankee 11.
Okay, that's strange. I always find the actual strobe emissives are almost non-existent on this.
174, radar contact, showing you 40 miles southeast of the Franklin VOR, flight level 350, welcome aboard.
So all the way to the bottom to hold bay 1, then 01.
2122, the wind 060 at 6, runway 1, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 1, American 2122. Might as well use the whole runway. Come on, there's no blue.
Washington Center, good afternoon, American 4687, requesting IFR clearance to JFK, please.
American 4687, Washington Center, good morning, expect PDC.
Okay, just do as I'm told for the controller.
909, check your hot mic, please.
Let's head round. We use as much of the runway as we can. Get a bit of power in.
Washington American 4687, PDC ready for taxi.
That max? Yeah. Power set.
American 4687, runway 1, taxi via Kilo 5, Juliet.
Okay, maintain the center line as we accelerate speeds alive, flex SRS and runway.
American 7544, runway 1, line up and wait.
Got a bit of a crosswind. 100 knots. Hello. This is interesting.
American 5122, climb maintain flight level 290.
Climb maintain flight level 290, sorry about that, I got a warning for traffic.
Climbing away, following the flight directors with positive rate, gear up.
60, but nobody else is around you, sir.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Look at that. Try and follow the nose. Flight director's going left. We're going to roll left. We're going to fly with the flight director, which is why I hate that default view that they've got as well. She can't see it otherwise. Auto thrust is working. Following the flight director, we'll still hand fly it. And we're trying to preempt what the aeroplane's doing, or is going to want us to do. So we're kind of working and flying with it. Through flap retractions, let's get rid of those. Speed brake, disarms. And we will keep hand flying for a little while, because it's very rare that I do this on a technical departure like this. So let's do it.
Call me holding short of kilo.
I go push and call you holding short of kilo. Nothing to go fast.
American 2122, radar contact, sales. American 2122.
Good.
American 2122, radar contact, stay altitude, please.
Passing 3,500 feet, American 2122.
Flight attendants will pick you up in the cabin to offer you beverages of your choice, followed by our international flagship meal service.
Maintain flight level 210,
During the course of our
American
flight, snacks and
2122.
beverages will be available. If at any given point you wish to sleep undisturbed, we do ask that you kindly display all fasten seatbelts on the outside of all garments or blankets, so as your crew does do frequent safety checks. And failure to see yourself will result in having to awaken you for compliance. We thank you in advance for your cooperation.
That was a loud announcement, wasn't it?
The wind variable at 3, runway 1.
Still hand flying?
Runway 1 center, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 1.
Because why not?
352.
I'm flying almost to 10,000 feet now. Avgeek 09's flying a BA 777 from Heathrow to Madrid. Lovely. Still hand flying.
American 7544, the wind 060 at 6, runway 1, clear for takeoff.
Just match up with the flight director, and we'll go autopilot 1 on. Away we go. Look at that, we've hand flown that whole thing up to that point. Always fun. Why not? I can only recommend doing it, giving it a go. You get a really good feeling for how the aeroplane flies that way as well. Very nice.
Southwest 766 Washington Center, cycle transponder please, squawk 0576.
DCA just at the top of your screens up here, middle.
Southwest 355 for future reference, runway 4 is an active runway, please check before crossing.
Sorry, I was thinking about it.
American 4687.
Look at that haze in the distance over there around the wingtip. That's incredible. Okay, climbing out and away from Washington through 10.
American 7544, radar contact, altitude.
2500, contact.
American 7544, position check, climb maintain, flight level 210. United 352, radar contact, altitude.
United 352, I was 2300.
United 352, position check, climb maintain, flight level 330, when able, proceed direct Ross.
Climb maintain 330, direct Ross.
Giving us a flight level to climb to, so just tune
radar contact,
to that.
17 miles northeast of Lewisburg, VOR, flight level 370, descend via the Troops 4 arrival, Washington landing north. Washington, altimeter 3020, information Delta.
Geek says the Fenix A320 is a marvel, I do not regret buying it. We've had a fair share of issues with it today though, bizarrely. And some of it has not been that fun. I have to say. Some of it's rather thrown us actually. It's kind of the worst, like you know, going to toga on final approach for no reason at all. Bizarre. So we ended up
355, runway 1, line up and wait.
turning off the auto thrust and actually flying it like a Boeing.
Boston Standard, Delta 4905, check in, flight level with you,
Touch wood, this second sector going a lot better.
Delta 4905, Washington Center, hello, squawk 0555, 555.
Squawk 0555, thanks, Delta 4905.
That's why they fly at
17,000
feet in the recent flights of this particular route, Doc, then, isn't it? It's the Victor Airway, low altitude airways.
4687, runway 1, line up and wait.
Runway 1, line up and wait, American 4687.
That's the 4905, clear take from Celebration 2 for arrival.
Not flown to JFK for a very long time in the sim either.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see what that's like when we get a bit closer to our destination. Of course, we could end up getting a few issues.
It'd be completely against the wind, sir. Are you sure that's what you want?
Okay, headwind. What's the arrival runways for ILS?
Right now it's runway 1.
Alright, we'll take runway 1 for arrival. Thanks, Delta 4905.
Okay, you can expect that.
Center, hello, Delta 433, IFR to JFK.
24, it's Mika on the ground at Baltimore, requesting clearance to Atlanta.
The aircraft calling before 2524, say your call sign again, please.
Delta 433.
Delta 433, Washington Center.
Nice to have a bit of ATC as well. Sometimes it's just nice to listen to the controllers do their magic. Let's have a look at the ATIS
stand by, your number 2.
in JFK. So information whiskey in real life at the moment in JFK. Winds are variable at 6 knots. 10 static miles visibility. View cloud at 25,000 feet. Temperatures plus 26 degrees and the dew point only plus 8. Altimeter 3017. So I might be cheeky, I might pre-tune those. Ready. Approach in use, ILS, runway 31 right, visual approach, runway 31 left, departing runway 31 left.
Southwest 355, radar contact, stay altitude please.
NOTAM's attention all aircraft, 5G NOTAM in effect for JFK.
355 position checks, climb, maintain flight level 210.
Bird activity in the vicinity, number of cranes operating at JFK as well, and reback all runway hold short instructions, advise information whiskey. Max, that'd be great, but yeah, sadly my day off tomorrow is being cancelled, so I'm having to go to work.
Runway 1, Kilo 5, Juliet, American 805.
Which runway can you accept for departure?
American 5122, cross Pansy 5000, Atlantic City, altimeter 3018. T-Bus 6190, Washington Center, hello. Break, American 5122, Washington.
The livery for this we're using today is one of 3 included in a pack on flightsim.to.
2122, direct Pansy, maintain flight level 210, please.
Direct Pansy, maintain flight level 210, American 2122.
Delta 4905, I'm showing you 19 miles northeast of Medina, VOR flight level 220, cross Baltimore 10,000, 250 knots, Baltimore altimeter 3020.
Our next day off is our next stream next Monday, VATSIM. That's the kind of the problem.
5122, Washington Center.
They've literally deleted a number of my days off, and yeah, pulled me into work.
American 4687, the wind 060 at 6, runway 1.
Okay, let me see, what have we got in Meta?
American 4687.
Washington Center, Australia 722, stand Charlie 31, Dr. 5, departure, information, Delta, ready to push.
Osprey 722, Washington Center, hello. Push onto Kilo is approved, tail to the north.
180, lovely, and then for the ILS approach.
Washington Center, radio check.
5x5, sir. Cross Pansy 15000, please.
Cross Pansy 15000, Delta 220, American 5122.
Thank you.
Our minimums today, 212.
American 7544, climb maintain level 210, level your cruise.
210, that's
Let's do a flap 3 landing, shall we, into JFK?
Southwest 355, climb maintain level 210, that'll be your cruise today.
What's the runway length? 31 right, it's 3,048
American
meters.
805, cross runway 4 at Juliet.
Cross runway 4 at Juliet, American.
Look, what's the gate that you wanted us to park at in JFK? Is it close to 31 right, or is it miles away? Mikael, hello, welcome. Hope you're okay. We'll do a landing flap 3. That's going to actually bizarrely have us flying faster, but it'll mean that we
766, accept the Mount Vernon visual approach, runway 1.
Actually fly in slightly differently. It means that we can get ahead quicker.
And Southwest 2524, my apologies for taking so long. Runway 10 will be your departure runway today.
Let's amend this.
Roger, runway 10, 2524.
There we go. Just giving our top of descent at Pansy now. Lovely. And you'll see there's a big gap after Cameron all the way to Catod because there's a discontinuity, and that's because we'll have vectors. In short, we want to make sure that we are going to vector ourselves towards Catod, 3,000 feet for the ILS 31 right. Now we could, if we wanted to, just delete the discontinuity and it would then draw a line across from Cameron to Catod. We could just do that. In fact, I actually might do that. Yeah, let's do that. You'll see now it's got that dashed line across. So it's going to bring us in with a 90-degree turn. So what we'll do, we'll actually come slightly right of that, and then we'll come in to intercept the ILS at about 20 degrees or so, for then the ILS into JFK. We've got to make sure.
American 2122, cross Pansy 15000, landing city altimeter 3018.
Cross Pansy 150 to altimeter 3018, American 2122.
United 352, proceed direct news, cross news, flight level 270.
Direct news, cross news 270, United 352.
American 805, holding short, runway 1.
American 805.
That's going to be interesting for the VNAV, isn't it?
Runway 1, clear for takeoff.
Runway 1, clear for takeoff, American 805, thank you.
Dan, hello, welcome. What was I doing? What was I doing? What was I doing? Yes, here we go. So checking the data. And also trying to find what the doc's saying here. Gate 38. Weird, just got disconnected from VATSIM. Very strange. So he wants us to cross Pansy at flight level 150. How far have we got to Pansy? .58 miles.
American 7544, cross Pansy 15000, landing city altimeter 3018.
these shorter hops. Definitely a little bit more involvement from you because you've got to pre-plan everything and kind of change things on the fly.
For my air, sir, proceed direct Corey, cross Corey, 11,000, landing city altimeter 3018.
City altimeter 3018, cross Corey at 11,000, American impact.
Got here. Oh yeah, look at that. If you've not already done so, please do click the like button down below and make sure you hit subscribe as well. We're on the hunt for 20,000 subscribers.
American 805, position check, climb, maintain, flight level 210.
You know, continue climb 210, American 805.
Washington Center, Osprey.
Miguel, ouch. Feel your pain. I've just done 2 night shifts. Exceptionally busy night shifts as well, and they cancelled my day off tomorrow, which meant I've only got today off as a full day off. I've basically had 1.5 days off and back onto early turn shifts then after that, so I know how tired you likely are. It's almost like the optimum altitude to fly around in the sim, isn't it? This about 17 to 20,000 feet or so. Get some great blends of this sort of satellite imagery down below. Those two, hopefully you're okay. Generic pilot, yeah, inching closer, very exciting. Then we can finally do that PMDG and Contrail web shop giveaway, can't we? Exciting stuff. 40 miles, it won't take too long to get to 150, and welcome.
Center Delta 433 for pushing start.
What have we got here? 15.
Delta 433, push on the alloys at your discretion, sir. Call me holding short of kilo.
Alright, we'll push and we'll give you a call. Delta 430.
That's two, yeah, no, nothing yet, thankfully. Nothing yet. Touch wood, anyway. See what she does. Oh, that'll do. Do 800 foot per minute. Generic pilot, we certainly are, yes. Trying to think of a bit of a group flight to think of doing as well. VNAV's just very confused today, isn't it?
Delta 4905, Baltimore, 10,000 please, sir. I'm showing you're below the altitude assignment.
Just very confused. 20 miles to go. Oh, we're not far off to Captain Kenobi. We are approaching New York, which is actually up here somewhere. In fact, I think that could be Manhattan there. Might be wrong. So JFK is up here somewhere. It's actually very close. Yeah, that matches what I'm seeing on the charts, I think, as well.
Space 722, runway, cross runway 4, Juliet.
That's the one, Kenobi. So we want low auto brake. We're going to have, we'll try reverse thrust again, but we might not get any. It's likely we'll end up with one reverse idle on engine 2 again, which is not ideal, but if that happens, that's fine. We will just revert to manual brakes and trying to make sure we keep the aeroplane nice and stable. 62.6.
Altimeter Street 018, better capacity and crossing capacity 15,000 for Shutdown Street.
American 2122, cross Cameron, 11,000, Atlantic City altimeter 3018.
Cross Cameron, 11,000 feet, altimeter 3018. American 2122. Cool, let's maintain that.
22, the wind 060
Ready to
at
descend.
6, runway 1, clear for takeoff.
And we've been asked Cameron at 11. Logan, welcome. So GPWS flap 3 mode, we've got to make sure that's in the perf page. It is, so we've selected config 3 and then
5122, you're leaving my
in the
airspace
overhead
to the northeast,
flap
New York
3 as
approach
well.
is offline, radar services are terminated, frequency changes approved.
We're below transition already, so we need to make sure we're on local pressures, and it's 3018 for us now. And then in here, we're idle, no reverse. And low auto brake's going to actually give us 7139. If we've got reverse, it's going to remove 100 feet. So it's still in limits regardless. But also we need to change this to flap 3. Ross McAdam, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Great to have you with us today. And happy 4th of July to everybody in the United States. Wherever in the world you're watching as well. Great to have you with us.
United 352, you're leaving my airspace to the northeast. New York Center is offline, as well as Boston Center is offline. Radar services are terminated. Frequency changes approved. Thanks for flying with us today.
Over to Unicom, thanks for the great HTC. Have a good one. Happy 4th, United 352. See ya.
Thank you, sir.
Delta 433, short of protect.
Delta 433, runway 1, taxi via Kilo 5, Juliet.
Boom, bang on 15 at Centuria, good morning, happy 4th. Clock saying vacate whiskey if possible. We've got to find that first. Where is it? Let's have a look, see. Oh good, yeah. Well I was considering whiskey or Victor. I was thinking Victor. Right down the bottom, but if not whiskey, I'll try Friday.
2122, you're leaving my airspace to the northeast. New York approach is offline. Radar services are terminated. Frequency changes approved. Have a good one. You are in trail of one aircraft also going to JFK 20 miles ahead.
Roger, monitoring Unicom for American 2122. Happy 4th of July. Thanks for the ATC.
Thanks.
In we go. Over a bit of water first, routing out before heading in. Tom, welcome. Cameron, expect 250 at 11,000 feet.
To prepare for landing, please close your tray table and put away carry-on items. Place your seat in the original upright position. We will now collect any items you wish to discard. Please put away larger electronic devices, including laptop computers.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
For smaller handheld devices in your hand or seat pocket. Devices must remain in airplane mode until after we land. We will be landing soon.
12 miles to Cameron, and then vectors from there into Kennedy for the ILS 31 right. It's been a rather mixed bag for a stream, hasn't it? It's been rather, well, it's been hectic at times. 10 miles or so to Cameron, which is good because that's then going to actually give us a bit of space and time to decelerate. What do we want here? 250 at 11,000. Get that waypoint in. So we're also looking out for that one ahead of us. Fly with Tom saying the sounds of the aircraft are amazing. Yeah, it is beautifully made. But we've had a fair share of problems today. Most likely because we were using toolbar pushback as well. But actually, all we'd done is just left it installed actually, and then it just had a massive fit and caused way too many problems, more than I would like. And our entire sector, the first sector actually, was just plagued with weird bugs and weird behaviour. But we're on our way. Blown up. Do you mean the Fly Live Orbex giveaway that we're having on Monday? We're going to have 10 questions, 10 separate giveaways throughout one live stream. If that makes sense. So it's going to be a busy one. We've got 10 different prizes to give away throughout that entire live stream. So to basically give yourself the best chance possible, you're going to have to watch throughout the entire stream. Let's have another look. Cameron now. Just go to approach phase here. Okay, so from here now we need to think about descending in for the ILS. We need to be at Catod at about 3,000 feet. And actually if we go towards Catod and then we turn left to intercept from Mould, the charts show that Mould needs to be at 3,000 feet. Which in that instance is absolutely fine. So we will just remain with this kind of 90-degree turn that we need to go and experience and deal with. Through 10,000, let's get the lights on, make sure the signs are on, runway turn off lights are on, strobes are all good. I've actually got the, I mean that's on bright now, but it's just the way that the light bloom works. Makes it very dark at the very top of the overheads. And we've already checked the RadNav page, so we know that I've got the ILS frequency all tuned in, ready to go too. Let's do a little fix around JFK. 2, 6, and 10. Legs on the right hand side, performance on the left hand side. Showing top of, bottom of descent just after Atod, I think. There we go, that would do, just before Atod. God, YouTube's getting absolutely plagued by these spam bots. But it's, you know, it's just, oh yeah, it's these things, you know, it's these things. At least we deal with it quick enough here at least, isn't it? We deal with it, we're pretty good at dealing with it pretty rapidly. Rightio. Get on the ground, shall we? Sector 202 on the 4th of July. Matthew, indeed, yeah. kind of powerless to do anything about it, really. They always seem to be able to circumvent YouTube's protections, I guess, probably a word for it, I'm not sure. Yeah, it happens everywhere. It's constant, but you know, as long as we're in a position to deal with it nice and quick, that's the main thing. The rest is down to YouTube. We report every single one as well. It's always when I'm flying in on an approach or something like that, and we end up getting hit with them. So I'm trying to fly the approach and then also hiding them from the channel and reporting every single comment they set. It's absolute madness. It's always when my workload's already high, basically. Kennedy traffic, American 2122 Airbus A320 inbound 15 track miles from the ILS runway 31 right. I will report when established. American 2122 for Kennedy traffic. That big massive concrete over there I think is JFK. We're going to do another check of VPilot just to make sure we haven't got any controllers online that could conflict with us. There's actually a lot on already. We've got Atlanta, Chicago and DC centres, Philadelphia approach and tower, both online as well, so pretty cool. Yeah, VATSIM, they are hidden. But what they do is they create hundreds of accounts. So you hide one, they just move to a different account and come back again. It's an impossible fight that YouTube really needs to take more seriously. Camera Mini, yes, but remember, if you're only buying it for the updated AirRack in the sim already gives you the most up-to-date AirRack every month anyway, so it's the wider benefits of Navigraph, the charts, and everything else. And also the Navigraph nav data, which is a lot more accurate and a lot more polished for the sim. Let's start to decelerate now. We'll think about our green dot speed. So engines are now idle and we're slowly decelerating. We're almost at 3,000. We're going to reduce our rate of descent a little bit. It's going to help our deceleration down to green dots. Alexander, is there a specific reason to put the blue fixed rings around the airport? So it gives us an idea of 6 miles and then 10 miles basically, so we can visualize the approach. We also can make sure that, say for that inner circle, we make sure that we've got gear down and we're set, so flaps set how they need to be. In this instance it's going to be flap 3 only for approach. Let's go to heading mode now. We want 3 on, go here, 314. 334, we'll call it 335. Three, 4, 5, that'll do 30 degrees. Camera at green dot. LS mode ready to go. Almost on the glide slope, so let's step down to 2.5. That's alive as well. Let's start to establish. Pilot 2. And weirdly enough, it's just completely bussed past that. Mateo, yes it is, well documented as well actually, so A lot of people criticising MDG for not creating an EFB, but it's because they're working on a brand new one specific to the 737, a more modern look and feel to it and everything else. So it will be getting released, I think, definitely in time for the 800, which is coming around August time, though a date's not set. Bear that in mind. Kennedy traffic American 2122 is established 7 miles runway 31 right ILS. Ground spoilers on, we'll go flap 2 and we're passing 2,300. Let's get gear down and we'll add a bit of drag to the aircraft as well. It's going to help with our descent. Bit of turbulence to this section. We're going to do 160 till 4, but we're at 5.8 miles from the threshold now, 5.6 miles, so we'll just go flap 3. We're about 150-ish knots anyway. Actually now we're going to be established at final approach speed at 5 miles quite nicely. Ecam ambush no blue. It is a bit bumpy through this little section here. We've got an 8 knot crosswind. And yes, I think so, but I think it's going to be nearer to November, December time. Good question, thanks for asking. So I think that's when they're looking to maybe release on Xbox.
Turning right to the runway 31 express station.
Here we go. Quick outside view before we jump back in. Got a TA only mode. We should get landing inhibit in a second. Quite a variable, choppy crosswind this. Let's get the autopilot off. My aeroplane. I have control.
Above. 200. Minimum. 100.
Good old JFK frames killing us a bit.
JetBlue 174 is turning inbound ILS 31 right.
5.
Hold the pit, hold the flare, hold the flare, hold the flare. Oh boy, look at that. Reverse, green, and it's reverse idle, so that's failed again. And we're going to go to manual brakes. Interestingly, whiskey doesn't exist, so... Oh, now it's gone to reverse thrust. That is weird. Very weird. Let's just kill it. And we'll vacate at Victor. So look how quickly we've been able to vacate the runway using flap 3. When they go on about minimum runway occupancy, especially during busy VATSIM events, that's what you want. Kennedy traffic, American 2122 vacated, runway 31 right at Victor, taxi to gate 38, concourse C, terminal 8 via the apron. Sarco Tech, it is landing rate monitored by FS Hub. It's free as well, which is great.
Kennedy traffic, JetBlue 174 is fully established, ILS 31 right.
Terminal 1, 2, 3, Terminal 8, Concourse B, Concourse C. So we're going to go Victor. I have no idea where we're going at this point. Not the first time a pilot's got lost in real life either. Get the landing lights off.
LaGuardia traffic, American 754, turning onto final runway 31.
Blown up, I know, right?
For your comfort and safety, please remain seated.
Yeah, Doc, that's a bit too late. We're doing alpha.
Please leave all carry-on items stowed and keep the aisles
Sobo's
clear
default
until the seatbelt sign has
Kennedy,
been turned
sadly.
off. Before leaving, please be sure you have all your belongings. Be careful when opening the overhead bins, because baggage may have moved and could fall out. American Airlines and our One World Alliance partners thank you for flying with us today. We hope to see you again soon on another American Airlines flight.
Ooh, brakes hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving
no brake
at
fans.
T9, and your baggage claim will be number 10. Baggage claim for American Airlines.
That's because we had the reverse failure again, so I've had to manually brake and brake fairly hard as well.
Across from gates T12.
Yes,
Down those
quote,
escalators,
handcrafted
carousel number
unquote.
10. On behalf
Clear the
of all
master
employees
caution.
of American Airlines, we'd like to thank you for flying with us. And once again,
use
thank you for
preps,
flying
let's
American
bleed.
Airlines, a member of the One World Alliance.
LS. Go back to plan mode for the next dudes flying. So coming up to Tango, gate 38 is a couple in. Here we are. Handcrafted by a child, apparently, Centurion says. Yeah, it's not the most optimised either, is it? It'd be nice to have some very nice, decent payware scenery with good performance attached to it, associated with it as well, of course. Kenobi, no worries. Thank you very much. I have no idea which one's 38 at this point. I think it's this one here. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. Without looking too much. Seems to no debris. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 38 is the next one. Thank goodness for the charts. Grab the chart, count how many jetways you've got. That's what I do. Clear up GPWS flap 3 mode. We going? Yeah, brakes got stuck. Generic pilot, yeah, it is, isn't it? It's kind of, it's like the total total opposite to each other. Oh, Gav crashed a desktop. That's not good.
Kennedy traffic, JetBlue 174 is clear of the runway, taxiing to any gate in Terminal 5 via uniform
Matthew.
traffic.
Yes. Yeah, one of your bugbears, isn't it? Leaving the office untidy when you get into your aircraft. No, there's only a tiny little tab of the brakes. Oh, we're in the building. I assume that's going to be the line. Bar brake on. There's the warning for it as well. Happy days, APU's on bleed. Let's go engine 1 and 2 off. Bingo. Ground services. Actually, it's mass and balance, isn't it?
Kennedy traffic, JetBlue 38 taxiing on runway 31 right via Bravo, Echo, Yankee Alpha.
Drops.
Kennedy traffic.
Here she comes. Doors open. That's one of the cool things about the Fenix. It auto sorts out all of this. It's a nice little quality of life feature for the added bit of realism and things. But yeah, now we can't see the tablet, but that's fine. Let's use this one. Board. Ta-da! There we are. So we're clearing everything away out of that, getting rid of the self-loading cargo. By that I don't mean the product self-loading cargo, but rather the other bits. A couple of aircraft zipping around there. There's a double jet blue. Matteo, for the 737 you just want something like toolbar pushback or something like that, and it will then allow you to do it. Oops. It's usually where my drone camera is. But look at the LOD at this airport, it's horrendous. We need a good JFK if you're a developer of decent quality and standard, like Zeki Designs or American Simulations. Please, please, please consider getting one of these big beasts sorted out. Here we go for one of the guys on approach. Oh yeah, I think it's the Southwest full livery that we saw at DCA. Blue, no, we kept with the Fenix. It worked a bit better this time. We've had some weird behaviour from it today. Can't really work out exactly why, though. Of course, it is likely because we had toolbar pushback still uploaded. Does the flight sim community get the self-loading cargo joke, aka what it means? Passengers that load themselves. I don't know if everybody understands. Great product name though for the actual product self-loading cargo, though I've never used it, I don't have it. Check this livery. It is the one we saw at DCA at National. Check this out. It is cool. This is also a livery that's available on flightsim.to. You can download for the PMDG 737, along with the Freedom one that we flew the other day, which weirdly enough we should have done that today and last week in being Fenix. But in hindsight, yeah, magical thing. Look at that. Arizona 1. It's one of the AIG models there for model matching purposes. It's a bit jiggly, a bit jumpy on the VATSIM there, trying to work out where the aeroplane was. That was a great landing though, wasn't it? Absolutely MPS gaming. And he's vacated wonderfully at Victor. Off he goes. Cool livery. There's quite a few on FlightSim.to that are available for that. It's very, very smart indeed. Very unique. Southwest have got some cool paint schemes. Set your ear. Last minute aircraft swap. Question is, who else do we have on final? Although I asked the question and I've closed Volanta it seems, so let me bring it back up. That was Southwest 355. We've got Osprey 121 in the 737 inbound. Can't see anybody else. Alan, hello, welcome. So it's part of the AIG model matching. Basically, some of the aircraft have also got sounds on them. It depends on whether or not they've actually got the sound files in there, I suppose. BKG, hello, missed us flying into Ronald Reagan. You mean Washington National, right? Centurio, like is it the Shark? Or is it the tuna fish livery that you sent me a little while ago? That'd be quite cool. I tell you, no, it's something called AIG. You want to have a little look at my AIG model matching tutorial. You don't have to use it with VATSIM. You can use it offline as well, and it will feed its own traffic in, basically, which is quite cool. 3 inbound, Doc says. Cool. All welcome. Get rid of the lift music. Get across to something else. What's next on the list?
Kennedy traffic, JetBlue 248 holding short, runway 31 right.
See the windsock there offering us about 5 knot crosswind. The salmon 1 Centurio, that's the one. I remember it being a fish. Yeah, I'm sure that will be created very, very quickly by the community. Quite a funky livery. I can only see American 805 in a Mad Dog, but I think that's Badger. I don't think he's actually on VATSIM. Oh, Delta 433 by JFK. Oh, and Gav Osprey 722, I think, going over Atlantic City. So they're a couple of minutes behind.
Kennedy traffic, American 805, 5 from shadowed, landing 31 American.
The JetBlue could have definitely departed by now. What have we got at JFK today then? Let's have a little pan around, have a look. It's morning on the East Coast, of course. Well, actually late morning on the East Coast. Almost noon. I don't see anybody on the ground yet though, except for those 2 moving about on the manoeuvring area. We had a TAP A320 somewhere. Where'd he go? There was a big A330 literally here. Perhaps he got in before us. They're just us on our Todd over there. It was surprising for JFK seeing it this empty. Such a vast airport though. It's not too bad for a handmade airport, to be fair. And actually performance here has been better than... Oh, for goodness sake. This is the problem, they just come back as a different bot. It's endless, and we have to click report on every single one. That one, Brit, hello to you. Or happy 4th of July for our friends in America. Well, that was there. It looked like a bit weird coming in. It is a Osprey Airways Boeing 737. Pro pilots, Osprey Airways in the 7.3. Only the best. Look at that. Found that aiming point as well. Wonderful. Right on the money. Wowzers. Water brake max. Off he goes. There's a JetBlue at the terminal. Love the channel's livery, it's so good. Looks fantastic on the 737 as well. Where's John? Here comes the JetBlue for a departure. We get to see a takeoff.
Kennedy traffic, JetBlue 248, taking off runway 31 right.
There he goes. There's that well-known spiky building in New York. JetBlue, away we go. Maybe he's just not got around to his gear up check yet. Positive rate? No.
Traveler 238, departing south.
Who's next? Let's have a look. We've got Delta 433 inbound now. He's probably about 5 minutes away. See, from a distance, from this sort of altitude, there's a KLM over there for those of you in the Netherlands, YOEP, etc. 787 as well, nice. You want MSFS by any chance? It looks alright from here, doesn't it? From this distance, you would look at it and think, you know what, it could be a Payware airport, but you get close to it and it's just a bit blur. Alright, pilot, no worries, buddy. Thank you very much. I mean, it goes without saying, but of course if you see any of the bots like that appear, random sort of spam bots and things inside the live chat on any streams across YouTube, no matter who you watch, because they're everywhere at the moment, make sure you do not ever click any of those links, because you will just be hacked and spammed and all sorts of stuff. So never ever click any of those links, because no matter how curious you might be, it goes without saying of course, but oh, hello, US Airways. Where did he come from? Oh. Blown up. Didn't even know you could do that. Where did he come from? Is that Jerry? American 805. It is. MD82, it's matched as close as possible though. Oh, you're inbound. Thankfully we just about caught it. Matthew, yeah. You know what, I've got to say these things so just in case, because somebody might click a link. Aaron, good work. What else have we got coming in? Got one roughly in that sort of bit of space up here. Actually, Gav's had the crash to desktop, hasn't he? So it's literally just Delta 433, which is about to
JFK traffic, American 805, taxiing Alpha to the
join the ILS. Yeah. Well, there's a conspiracy. In between reading all his study manuals for the 767, he's been hard at work creating spam bots. Love it. Got one more to land. We'll watch their landing before we conclude today's live stream. Been long overdue, but I need to create need to do another controller stream, don't we? Birmingham Airport probably. And getting older, Centurio, as well. Let's face it, back in the days of integrated sponsorship, they were able to get their training paid for, and we can't even afford to fly. Brian, is that you coming in now? It says Delta 433 is a Mayday 5193. But if that's you and you genuinely don't want us to, genuinely don't want us to watch your landing, then just let us know. Centurio, yes, apparently so, apparently so. But we have to have the latest thing. And we staff 2, David says. Get some round trips in for people, Birmingham to Edinburgh or something. That's a good question, actually. Yeah, Brian, what do you think? Do you want to be spotted for your touchdown, or do you not? I'm happy to do either. Whatever makes you more comfortable. No, it's fine. Okay, we'll watch you. No pressure. And if you muck it up, it doesn't matter. Brian, love the confidence. Matteo, what's the landing rate? It's called landing rate monitor. You want to go to fshub.io for all the information there, or check out a video that I've done covering basically what it's all about and how to get it set up. Those of us who fly with Osprey Airways, the channel's sort of airline if you like, that's what we use to track all of our flights, touchdown ratings and things. Only 300 subscribers to go till 20,000. That's mega. Very exciting. To be fair, I've crashed 3 times on stream. Almost 4. I've had some horrendous moments. I mean, just look at the start of today's live stream. It's just bug after bug after bug that we experienced. Never had anything like it though. Bizarre. But all good fun. Frustrating when it happens, but then you look back and you think, once the pressure's away, I think actually that was quite hilarious. It was good fun. It was funny. Aaron, very kind. Best sim community going. Thank you very much. Appreciate that a lot. Very nice words. Can't see anyone yet. This is where we find out Brian's disconnected secretly, so that we can't spot his landing.
Kennedy traffic Delta 433, about 9 out for 31 right.
Yeah, here he comes. Matthew, like I said, you'll never be embarrassed with this. if you saw my first officer's landing on my last day at the airline. Slam City, baby. Wow. Were the engineers pleased? Did the CRJ, you know, with the Airbus, if you land really, really hard, it automatically prints out a hard landing report to give to the engineers, kind of like a name and shame type thing. Did the CRJ do anything similar? Phantom, no worries, buddy. Next stream, folks, by the way, will be next Monday. So a week to go, just with the work cancelling many days off over the next few days, and then my normal working week wedged in between as well. They've cancelled Tuesday and Sunday for my days off so far. So next stream would be Monday. They've then cancelled the day off on the Tuesday, next Tuesday as well. Yeah, don't ask. And then I'm back at, I've got another day off on Wednesday, I think. So Monday and Wednesday will be next week's streams. CRJ inbound, dock indeed. Here comes Brian. He said, I quote him, I'll show you how it's done. Or perhaps, he said, perhaps you guys will learn something. So we'll take that, we'll assess it. Can't be as bad as the new student that just got into TOL stage and is already on his second flat spotted tyre. Ooh. Midja, hello.
Any traffic Delta 433 short final 31 right Kennedy.
Blown up. No, so I am technically still studying towards my PPL, but I've run out of money. I'm moving home and it's proving extremely expensive. So, Dusty, I'd say run it by them, see what they say. Imagine if they all say yes. It blows your mind. There you go, Doc. Yes, I'm a real sim pilot. Apparently that's the thing. I put that on my CV. 1,000 hours in the PMDG 737 on MSFS. Here comes Brian in the Barbie jet. Gav with a top tip there. Your caramilk's in the post. Matthew saying, I had to seriously contemplate whether or not I had to write it up as a hard landing in the maintenance logbook afterwards. Post-flight walk around myself to check for gear damage. Ooh. There's the touchdown zone. I feel like this is going to be a replica, Matthew, of your colleague's landing. You can do it, Brian. Well, there's the end of the runway. Let's do chase cam. Hopefully you guys took a lot of learning from that. Oh, look at that. He's showing off now. He's going backwards. Oh, yeah, the gear's sideways. Strange model issue, isn't it, with the AI? Off he goes. Good work, Brian. Matthew, yeah. It seems a bit odd, doesn't it? I guess it's there for liability. They've checked the fundamentals then, at least. So Brian's off. Let's head back towards Terminal 8, Concourse C. Fly airplane good.
Kennedy driver Delta 433 clear of 31 right Kennedy.
Well, we've deboarded then because the gear, the jetty's disappeared, but let's left the door open. Okay, there we go. 2 sectors. One was one of the messiest sectors I've ever experienced on the channel, so apologies to those of you watching. Rather odd first sector, but these things happen. I guess I should partially blame myself for maybe not removing toolbar pushback prior to today, but then at the same time I feel like I shouldn't have to. So I'll take the moral middle ground, I think, on that one. But there we go. Fenix A320 Ops, American Airlines livery. Out of FlyTampa's Boston, down to the wonderful Joseki Designs DCA, Washington National Airport, with the Mount Vernon visual, river visual approach into runway 01, and then we did that cool hand-flown departure, the Dr. 5, out of Washington National to here, John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York. Yeah, I mean, apologies again about tomorrow. We were supposed to stream tomorrow, that was the plan. But of course, work's decided to cancel my day off at last minute's notice, so only today for this week's live stream. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed it and had a good time. Those who flew along as well, thank you very much. Hope you guys have had a great time too. And keep an eye on the channel for our giveaway next Monday for Orbex's Fly July 2022. We're going to be back in PMDG 737 in a cool Nock-Air livery. Really cool Nock-Air livery. And we've got a great route from Bangkok to Phuket with the new Orbex Phuket scenery as well. So keep an eye on it. We're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to be giving away 5 Orbex products, courtesy of Orbex, on the day on that live stream, and then also giving away 5 6-month subscriptions to Volanta Premium. So a lot going on. Don't miss it. Thank you to everybody and welcome to those of you who have subscribed throughout today. Gav as well for super chatting earlier on. Really appreciate all the support. If you've not already done so, please do hit subscribe and click the like button before you head off. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you to everybody, all 146 of you who have clicked the like button throughout, and everybody who's tuned in throughout today's live stream. Enjoy the rest of the week ahead, and I'll see you next Monday for another live stream. Take care. Thanks for watching.